this Friday, May 30. 30 days have September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, except for February, which is stupid. Okay, so yeah. So it's the last Friday of the month and the day before last of the month. Tomorrow's the final day. We hope to see you out at the Glock store. More on that coming up in just a little bit. We've got 4 full hours of what I hope to be radio excellence. Thank you for joining us. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986, especially on these Fridays. We open up the phone lines and allow you to opine on any subject matter of your choosing. All you have to do is dial up those telephone numbers. You can also hit us up on the super text line, and it's the same number, 615-737-9986. It's episode 820 of our gatherings together. It is day 131 of the 1460.5 of Donald Trump's second term as president of the United States of America. And he spent some of that term standing with, or sitting, as Elon Musk stood with him, in the Oval Office, thanking Elon Musk for his hard work leading up the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Much to the chagrin, much to the dismay of those who want to create a narrative that there is some form of schism between the President of the United States and Elon Musk. That schism does not exist. As they were together in the Oval Office, Elon Musk always said that he was in this for a 130-day period of time. And he was in it for exactly 130 days, as he promised, and now he has to get back to his business. I love the rewriting of the historical record on this on the part of the mainstream liberal media, because they don't want to address the issues that Elon Musk was attempting to tackle. Can you imagine what we could get done if we had a media that fairly and accurately reported the stories that they cover? Can you imagine what we would get done if the mainstream media, who sadly are viewed and listened to by many, many Americans, I'm sad to report to you, as nasty and as a piece of garbage as I think hashtag Never CNN is, hashtag Never CNN. I say hashtag Never CNN. Don't watch CNN. I'll watch CNN so you don't have to. It's an occupational hazard for me. Why would you have to suffer through all of that? CNN is a garbage network full of garbage people spewing, wait for it now, garbage. Can you imagine what the world would be like if they actually fairly and accurately reported the news? Because sadly, I'm here to tell you that a lot of people watch this clap and they believe it. They actually think it's real and it's true. And they would have you believe, amongst many other Washington, D.C. institutional organizations, would have you believe that there's this great schism between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. They would secondarily have you believe that Elon Musk did not accomplish at least some of what he set out to accomplish. It was always going to be left to the Congress of the United States of America to do something with what he uncovered. And he uncovered plenty. Now, the work of DOGE continues. Make no mistake. DOGE will continue as an organization within Donald Trump's second term, designed to and focused on eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. There is plenty of it to go around. But Elon leading the cause was always going to be a temporary situation, as he has to get back to SpaceX, he has to get back to his Tesla organization, and his many, many other endeavors, entrepreneurial and otherwise, philanthropic and otherwise. So there they were, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, standing in the White House, or sitting in the White House together today, discussing what happened over the first 130 days of the Trump second term. And what happened is quite simple. Elon Musk brought to the attention of the American people, even against the desires of the mainstream media, the tremendous level of waste, fraud, and abuse that this federal government engages in on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis. It's insane. And only if the House of Representatives and the Senate, only if a Republican-controlled Congress does something with this information, can it be valuable. And that was always going to be the case. Elon Musk cannot and will not do it on his own. Despite what the media would have you believe, Donald Trump is not a dictator. Donald Trump is not a tyrant. Donald Trump is not a king, nor does Donald Trump want to be. Donald Trump can only do so much to draw this to the attention of the American people. And then it is up to us to demand that our lawmakers do more. I said it to Marsha Blackburn yesterday, and I would encourage you to talk to Blackburn, to talk to Haggerty as you can. I know that Blackburn's going to be at the GOP picnic tomorrow. I wish I could be there, but I've got another obligation at the Glock store. I hope to see you at the Glock store, but if you stop by the Glock store, maybe stop by the GOP picnic, or stop by the GOP picnic, then stop by the Glock store, and tell every lawmaker at the GOP picnic the same thing. We expect you to act like the conservatives that you claim to be and cut. Cut through fat till you get to meat, then cut through the meat till you get to the bone, and then cut some more. It is the most pressing issue before the American people. It is the greatest and most dangerous threat to the greatest country on God's green earth. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's not any other entity. It is ourselves and our inability to act responsibly when it comes to money. I've said it for my entire career, and I'll keep saying it until I'm done on this earth, because sadly, sometimes I don't believe that anything will be done with it. Was it a success? Elon Musk was a success inasmuch as he always was working against the tide of Washington, D.C. It is the natural state of the government to grow, any government for that matter. It is the natural order of things that government grows, because that's how politicians get reelected, at least a representative republic like the United States of America. I'm sad to report that to you, but it's true. And so you have to work against the natural tide and the natural order in order to get some of these things done. And circling back, if you will, to the original point, can you imagine what more could have been accomplished if we had a CNN or an MSNBC or an ABC, CBS, NBC, New York Times, etc., that gave one damn about the United States and its people? They don't. All they're interested in doing is transforming America into Obama's own image. They have picked teams, and they are on Team Socialist, because they think, wrongly, that they'll come out scot-free in all of that, when every example of how this works involves the state taking over the media at some point or another. But that's another subject for another day. I mentioned yesterday, and I did not bother with it enough to try to look for it or try to find it, but it was Channel 2. It was local television station Channel 2 that ran a report the other night. It was on their 10 o'clock news, where they said, well, Elon Musk is a schism between Musk and Trump, and he doesn't like the big, beautiful bill, and he said he didn't like it, so he's leaving the Trump administration, and they broke apart. That was the insinuation. And it's just not true. This was always the plan. And grown men, smart grown men like Trump and Musk, can disagree on certain aspects of what's going on. And oh, by the way, I would suggest to you that Donald Trump agrees with Elon Musk that the Congress has not done enough to cut. Donald Trump is also hopeful that the Senate will do something about it now that it has its hands on the quote-unquote big, beautiful bill. So we have that on the docket today. Elon officially going back to the private sector and leaving his post as the head of Doge. A post that, by the way, all the liberals disagreed with to begin with. And once again, they're running around Washington, D.C. calling this a failure. It was no failure. It is only, well, actually, let me say it a different way. It is only a failure if you and I allow it to be. It is only a failure if we allow his work to come to nothing. I was trying to look at this. This was from Politico. Politico, a leftist D.C.-based organization, if you've ever seen one. The world's richest man barreled into Washington fresh off a decisive win for President Donald Trump, on whose campaign he'd spent nearly $300 billion. I don't know where they got that figure, but maybe it's accurate. They'd swept the swing states and won the popular vote, and Musk, along ex's troll-in-chief, had taken his lib-owning all the way to the White House. On the stage, he revved a chainsaw symbol for his government slashing as the crowd roared. But Musk was a creature of Silicon Valley, a scion of the PayPal mafia, whose leadership and willingness to take big risks propelled him into unparalleled wealth and influence. Washington, he would soon discover, was an entirely different beast. And in the end, it proved too unwieldy for Musk to truly leave his mark. I just disagree with it. I just disagree with it. It is now up to us, to you and I. I was talking with Chad Benson during the crossover, the Matt Chat, if you will. And it wasn't really a disagreement, more of a semantic discussion about getting what we want and getting what we deserve. We can do as a nation anything that we set our minds to, but we have to set our mind to it. And for the length of time that I've been doing this job, and it's been a long time, and I'm not here, my pa once told me, it's all right to I forget where this happened, but somebody used the phrase preaching to the choir. Like, he's preaching to the choir, Cecil. It was my grandpa. And my grandpa said, it's all right to preach to the choir, but don't start sending them to hell. You send the choir to hell, you're going to have to find you a new choir next Sunday, which is true. You're the choir, right? So I'm not here to preach to the choir or condemn the choir to hell, but I am here to tell you this. The only government that you're going to get is the government that you demand. And if you don't demand changes in government, they're going to do things to benefit themselves. Even the Republicans, they do it all the time. Republicans are great at moaning and complaining and saying that we're doing it wrong until they get power. And when they get power, they do it wrong too. And they continue to overspend. They just overspend on their pet projects. For 25 years, and I'm not trying to, pull out the quarter of a century card here, but it's true. For 25 years, I've been a budget hawk. For 25 years, I said, we cannot continue to do this. And for 25 years, I get call after call after call when I talk like this. And the people say the same thing. Call after call after call. You're right, Murray. That's it. Let's get them. Well, what the hell are we going to do about it? Because if you don't demand Marcia do something about it, if Bill Haggerty doesn't get told to do something about it, if John Rose and Mark Green and Andy Ogles and Scott Desjardins and Tim Burchett and all the rest of them, Fleischman and David Kustoff, and gosh, what's that lady's name? Diana Harshbarger, and I think I got all of them except for Cohen. If you don't demand they do something about it, then they won't. They have to believe that if they don't cut spending in government, that their jobs are at risk. Otherwise, they are naturally predisposed to believe that they have to spend more money. It's sickening, the amount of money that we spend. Elon Musk knows that. His purpose was to bring this to the attention of the American people. Has he done his job? Are you not entertained? Now it's time to do something about it. The Republican bill sucked because it did not cut enough. But we have an opportunity to repair that in the Senate, and we need to demand it. Don't come back here with billion and trillion dollar deficit spending. We expect, and I'll say this, Marcia said it yesterday, and I'm going to hold her to it, that if you get it down to 6.5 trillion or whatever it is, she said that their budget plan that they're presenting in the Senate would send, not this year, but next year, Donald Trump a balanced budget. That's what she said. I am not living in a dream or fantasy world to believe that you can turn this huge, ginormous ship of state around in such a short length of time. But if you want to get people like Rand Paul and Matt Murphy and even Thomas Massey on board, show me where you can balance the budget in 24 months. I'll go with that. But I don't want to hear this nonsensical lip service, and I don't want to see all of this overspending, and I don't want to see all of these pet projects. I want to see real cuts to our budget. And if we don't get it now, and I'm telling y'all know me for better part of 4 years. If we don't do it now, I'm not talking about it anymore. Because I try to talk about things that the American people care about. And it occurs to me that maybe the American people don't care about this that much. Maybe I'm wrong. maybe the people of Tennessee don't care about it that much. Because if you did, the people that depend on your vote would listen. Is that me pointing to the choir? You're right. It is. We have to be louder than the special interest. We have to be louder than the people that are trying to grab the money. We have to be louder than the lobbyists. We have to be louder than the defense contractors. We have to be louder than all of these financial people in Washington, D.C. with their palatial. Have you been there? Have you seen K Street? They build those buildings on the money collected to make sure that the funding and the gravy keeps coming in, man. And they will fight to the death, and you better be willing to fight too, because your grandchildren depend on it. Or maybe you don't care. Maybe because let me tell you, if we can't get it now, here's my attitude. This is my attitude shift. I'm looking right at you. If we can't get it now, my attitude changes to let's spend it all and let's burn this SOB to the ground. I'm not kidding. I am as serious as a heart attack. If we can't get real spending cuts now, then I want to overspend by $100 trillion because it's all fake money at that point. Let's go. Let's have a damn party for the next 20 years until this thing doesn't exist anymore. Why not? What? Tell me how that doesn't work. All right, I'm fired up today. Hey, Chris Weber's here. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hi.
Hey, buddy. It's time to go to a break now. I started going off. I didn't mean to go off like that. Jay Harper's in the back. He's back there.
Hey, M squared.
What's
How
going
are you?
on, Jay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine,
Everybody
buddy.
good?
Yeah.
Well, it's Friday. That's exciting for people that don't work on the weekends. You notice Jay didn't say anything. Jay works every day.
Oh, yeah.
No, close to it, but
Yeah.
no,
Are you working this weekend?
Yeah, I'm on another station on Sunday.
See there? I knew it. I absolutely know. You working this weekend, Weber?
Not a chance.
Not a bit of it. I live my life demanding that I get Saturday. Oh, actually, I'm working tomorrow.
Is that really working, though?
Clock store.
Not really.
No.
Not really. We'll tell you more about that coming up in a moment. We'll say hello to you. You're welcome to give us a call. Give us your thoughts on all of this. Plus, Cameron Sexton, Speaker of the House of Representatives of the state of Tennessee, is coming on in about 10 minutes or so. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here, talking about saving money. If you're looking to save money on European auto repair, I've got a solution for you. I've got an idea for you. Call Aaron Stokes. Aaron's been doing this for a long time, 26 years to be precise, and Aaron is good at what he does. He started in a little backyard shop behind a single-wide trailer, and now he has grown to 5 separate locations. And at Eurofix, they get it done with the proper diagnosis. You know, we get diagnosed for a lot of different things, and I can diagnose a lot of things, but I can't diagnose your European auto repair. Aaron and his team most certainly can. Save you a lot of stress and a lot of money. Don't ruin your weekend. Contact Eurofix. Life's too short to get stressed out and angry about European auto repair. So, never a high-pressure sales tactic at Eurofix. They give you a 15-minute no-wrench inspection to tell you what's going on with your vehicle, a 3-year nationwide warranty, and a free loaner car when you drop your vehicle off at Eurofix. Plus, they'll tell you when it's going to be ready, and it'll be ready when they tell you it's ready. 100 Oaks, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now in Mount Juliet. Call 844-EUROFIX, 844-EUROFIX, or visit myEurofix.com.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A full weekend forecast and another traffic report are coming up. Elon Musk, he's not the only major departure from Doge. Several top officials he brought in to help lead Doge are also leaving. President Trump speaking alongside Musk in the Oval Office today, touting his efforts to overhaul the government.
More than 75,000 bureaucrats have voluntarily left their taxpayer-funded jobs to come out and really do the job. Countless wasteful and unnecessary contracts have been terminated, and you know that we have terminated many contracts, and many contracts, Elon, are right now being looked at.
Here in Nashville, reality TV star Todd Chrisley speaks out for the first time since President Trump's pardon and release from prison earlier this week. Speaking to supporters at a hotel in town this morning.
Even though this pardon has happened, I still was convicted of something that I did not do.
President Trump pardoning.
It could be you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chrisley there. President Trump pardoning Chrisley and his wife Julie, who served time for tax evasion and bank fraud. Again, that pardon came through on Wednesday. And sad news from the world of entertainment. Loretta Swit, who won 2 Emmy Awards playing Major Margaret Houlihan on the pioneering hit TV series MASH, has passed away. She was 87 years of age. Publicist Harlan Bull says that Swit died today at her home in New York City, and it is assumed at the moment from likely from natural causes. Again, Loretta Swit passing away at age 87. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Already on this Friday, Interstate 40 is a mess. 40 eastbound and westbound at Fessler's Lane on both sides of the interstate there. We've got wrecks, and the westbound side is blocking the right lane. 40 eastbound near the Briley Parkway exit, that's exit 215, got the right lane blocked due to a crash there near the airport. 440 eastbound near exit 6 at Nolensville Pike, got a crash there. Also, here's another wreck on I-40. This one's out in Hermitage at Stewart's Ferry Pike. That's exit 219. And keep in mind, we've got some roads downtown that are closed for CMA Fest, so maybe you don't work downtown, but you plan on heading there over the weekend to do something. Well, First Avenue South between Broadway and Demonbreun is already closed, as well as Demonbreun Street between John Lewis Way, Representative John Lewis Way, and 4th Avenue South. That also closed as well. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes, every afternoon on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So it is most certainly bug season. I mean, obviously, the bugs are out and about in force, and if you've noticed that on your property, it's time to get with the program and get with U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest is simply the best when it comes to bug protection. The purpose of pest control is pretty simple. I mean, it's to keep the nasty bugs away from your home and your family, and to improve the health of your home and your family. As a result, preventing insect and rodent-borne diseases in the process. Full-service pest control is available for you, 100% money-back guarantee. Common Tennessee pests include termites and brown recluse spiders and other types of spiders and ticks and fire ants and fleas and the like. You can protect yourself and protect your home with U.S. Pest. Termite protection available, 100% money-back guarantee on preventative and corrective service, and then, of course, their crawl space service to try to figure out what's going on down in the crawl space areas. You need U.S. Pest on your team. U.S. Pest, they love America and they hate bugs, and you need to get them in your life. 615 is the area code, 590-1260, 590-1260, or go to uspest.com. That's uspest.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. I've been told by some in the listening audience via super text to calm down. All right. I'll stop caring.
That's too calm.
Oh, find a happy meet.
Find somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between the screaming and the yelling and then yeah. Okay. Keep me in the. You know what Chris Webber is? He's a lot of things. But you know what Webber is as executive producer of the Matt Murphy Show? He's those little bumper things that you put up in the bowling alley.
Oh, yeah, the little cheaters.
Yeah, just avoid the gutter balls. Just keep us going down. He can't guarantee strikes.
No.
He can't guarantee a good score. But he just kind of keeps us moving forward.
Yeah,
just
keep us out of the ditch. That's all I can do.
Thank you, Weber. We all appreciate that. We appreciate our good friend, Speaker Cameron Sexton. He wrote this earlier today on a post on the X machine. It is reckless, irresponsible, and against the law for anyone to dox federal agents and law enforcement. We must get to the bottom of how this happened. I'm asking Freddie O'Connell and Metro government to explain how and why this happened, who approved this, and whether Metro Legal also signed off or voiced any opposition to the release of the agents' names. Tennessee law bans sanctuary cities and harboring illegal immigrants. And a violation puts the city at risk of losing state-shared tax dollars. And then he tagged Representative Mark Green, the AG of Tennessee, and the Department of Homeland Security. Cameron Sexton, the Tennessee Speaker of the House, joins us on the Matt Murphy Show. Cameron, always good to speak. Good afternoon. I hope you're well.
Good afternoon, Matt. Hope it's all well with you, too.
I want you to expound a little bit on the X post. Tell me, when you became aware. I mean, this took a different tone, and for me, the dynamics changed considerably. It's one thing for Freddie to, the mayor of Nashville, to kind of mouth off about his disagreement with the practices of ICE. That's one thing. It's America. I suppose he has the right to speak in a manner that he wants to, but it's another thing to impede those efforts. And it's quite another thing to dox state or federal agents. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, look, I mean, Matt, I'm on the same page as you. Look, people can express themselves, and politics is politics, and, that's fine. If you want to disagree with it, disagree with it. But to your point is when you get to the point of releasing names of the agents who were involved in this, whether it's one or multiple, it really doesn't matter at that point how many it is. One's too many. And one of them may have been someone who was undercover. It's a problem, and it's against the law. You can't do it. It's not allowed, and it shouldn't be done. And so the question is, why was it? What happened? Where did the process fail? What was the procedure? Who's responsible for it? You would assume that Metro Legal Counsel would at least have seen it before it went out. And there's just a lot of questions. And so, I don't want to rush to judgment quick. The names got released. We do know that. But I want some more information about it. But, this year we passed the bill that we talked about that said if you violate state law, if you're a city or county, you violate state law or state constitution, then the state can withhold your shared sales tax dollars. And so, we're serious about it. We're not going to put up with that. And, you're not going to be a sanctuary city. You're not going to dox law enforcement officials just because somebody thinks it's funny or they want to cause harm.
I find it interesting. I just got this into my inbox, and I want to read it to you. It is from our friends over at the Fox affiliate in Memphis. I don't know if you've seen this. This is from Memphis Mayor Paul Young. And I just want you to comment on what he had to say. The city of Memphis is not on the list. It's important to clarify that Memphis and Shelby County are separate government entities. The city of Memphis is not a sanctuary city, nor does it have policies that obstruct federal immigration enforcement. Tennessee state law explicitly prohibits sanctuary jurisdictions, and Memphis complies fully with that law. Our focus remains on ensuring public safety for all residents, and we continue to operate within the bounds of state and federal law. I find it interesting that the Memphis mayor, with whom you and I probably don't agree very much on politics, I find it interesting that the Memphis mayor came out and made that statement. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it is. Well, it just shows that he's trying to distance himself, right? He doesn't want to be caught up in it. And I think it goes to the effect of the bill that we passed. Look, the problem that we've had for a lot of years, we would have things on the books, and there was no consequence for the cities at all. There was nothing. And they could break the state law. The worst thing you could do is tell them to stop. Oh, please stop, and so forth. But when you start saying we're going to remove your revenue from you, just like the federal government tries to do to a bunch of states under the Biden administration, all of a sudden it gets real serious real quick. And so, look, Memphis isn't trying to harbor illegals. They're not trying to impede anything. Mayor O'Connell, I think it's a Metro Council issue that he has to get his hands on. There's some probably people within the departments he needs to get his hands on. But we're not going to have it in the state of Tennessee. And I can tell you that you don't want to go against the Trump administration on illegal immigrants and then trying to protect our cities and our states and getting rid of people here who are criminals and who are here illegally. Every person that came into our country legally, it's a disservice for individuals to protect those who came in illegally. And if you want to do it right, but the Trump administration is absolutely right, and we have state law now that backs us up, where we can start holding cities and counties accountable for their actions.
We got our hands on. I want to speak to the O'Connell piece on this in just a second, but I want to revert back to kind of your sphere of influence as Speaker of the House, specifically regarding a member of the House of Representatives, Afton Ben. We saw the Instagram post very soon after it came out, played it on the Matt Murphy Show. It's now made national. It's got national news, where she actively seems to be gleefully attempting to thwart the efforts of Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Tennessee Highway Patrol as they're going on. Reportedly, she was actively attempting to stymie them and reported on that herself. Have you been made aware of this video, and what, if anything, is your role as Speaker of the House in investigating whether or not Afton Ben, as a member of the House of Representatives, violated the law?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I think what you see from the left, and she's certainly on the left, and whether you've seen this in Memphis as well with law enforcement, with elected officials on the left, you've seen it in Nashville with elected officials on the left. Just because you're an elected official doesn't mean you can impede an investigation. It doesn't mean you can insert yourself into an investigation and try to stop it. And so what she did was trying to impede it and trying to do other things. And law enforcement, I think, and based on the video, actually had a conversation with her. Look, if you're doing that sort of stuff and you're a citizen or elected official and you're impeding a federal investigation or a state investigation, it should be a crime. You should be held accountable for that. You can't do it. And, until law enforcement starts holding those people accountable, they're going to keep doing it. And it happened in Memphis with a local elected official. They didn't end up indicting her or prosecuting her, which I think they should have. And so when you have those examples of law enforcement not really pushing forward with something that, in my opinion, should be a violation of state law or federal law or both, then it just tells other people that they can do it. And all of a sudden, you see them laughing in the car and smiling and acting like it's a game. It's not a game.
Right.
You have illegal people who are here committing crimes, creating more victims, killing people, raping people. It is not a laughing matter to get those people out of our country.
Amen.
And definitely out of our state.
So,
and when you're doing that, you're mocking the legal system and the judicial system that supposedly that they're okay with until it's something that they don't like.
So I know, because I know you well enough, Cameron, to know that you would never insert yourself between the legal process and law enforcement as they are investigating something. But let me ask you this, and the answer might be no. The answer could just be no, there's really no role for us in this. But if it is determined that Afton Ben did break the law in some fashion, I mean, is there anything that kicks in terms of her role as a representative at that point? Like I say, the answer might be no, but would you then look into that if it's determined by law enforcement that she violated the law?
Yeah, we definitely look into it. You also look into it with our ethics attorney who reviews all these things all the time of certain actions to see if there's a violation there, to see if what can or cannot happen. And, but once again, what I will say is you don't insert yourself. Now, if law enforcement comes to you, Matt, and says, hey, I would like your help in this situation, then by all means, right? That's how you do it. But you don't go around trying to dox law enforcement. You don't go around trying to impede their investigation. You don't try to make it all fun and games. This is a serious matter. And I think it just goes to what Biden and the left did through all those years, allowing all those people to come across the border, all these criminals, all these gang members, all these individuals who should not be here. And they see it as some kind of, sporting event almost, and it's serious. And they need to realize that you can't do that and allow the agents to do their job.
I want to circle back to I hate that phrase, so strike that. I want to go back to Nashville. So earlier this year, you announced and the state announced that we would be spending state money to do a forensic audit of Memphis and Shelby County school systems. And I think correctly so. Considering the questions regarding what taxpayer dollars were spent in Nashville to route money to certain funds that benefit illegal alien activity, Mr. Speaker, could the General Assembly decide to audit the city of Nashville? And if that is in your ability, I'm asking you, would you be willing to do that?
We would. We've already had conversations with the comptroller to ask him to take a look into it and see how they're funding this fund. And look, Nashville is saying, well, we're not a sanctuary city and we're not harboring anybody. But when you come out and you say, we're going to create a fund to help illegals who are here, who are getting picked up in this program, that's exactly what you're doing. The problem is when that money comes into the government, does it mix? Is it independent? What does it look like? There's a lot of questions there. We've already asked the comptroller to start taking a look. And we're waiting for that individual, Comptroller Mumpower, to report back to us if we need to go the next step and maybe do a forensic audit to see what's going on. but it's already on our radar. We've already raised the question, and we're waiting on the comptroller to respond back to us.
I think the vast majority of the people in this community in Middle Tennessee would absolutely love to see the state engage in a forensic audit, and I think we would consider it well worth the money cost to figure out where in the world our especially considering that outside of this subject, you have the mayor that wants to increase property taxes by 27%, costing the citizens of Davidson County even more money, while we don't really know where our taxpayer dollars are going in Davidson County. I think the people of this community and the state would welcome that, Cameron.
Yeah, well, they would, but also look at our state is booming with tourism dollars. Nashville is booming with people who want to come to Nashville to Lower Broad and other things. And what the city is doing, those individuals, some of those individuals in the city, is ruining the brand that Nashville is. And so that has an economic impact long term. You're doxing agents, you're harboring illegals, you're setting up funds to help illegals to stay here. All that does not help your tourism, especially if crime starts going up.
Well, we appreciate your leadership on this matter, appreciate your clarity on, what is within your scope of influence and what is not, and we look forward to the next conversation. Obviously, there's a lot of digging that needs to be done to get some answers to the questions that you've posed today, and I'm certain that you'll do that digging, and when you do, come back on and we'll talk about it, Cameron.
We'll do it. Thank you,
right.
Matt.
Thank you. There's Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, joining us. Let me tell you, forensic audit of the city of Nashville. That's what needs to happen. The Metro Nashville, the Metro count, whether they do something or not about this, the state needs to take over and do something about it. And I think Cameron Sexton would be willing to do that. I think that we have allies in the Senate that would be willing to take it up as well. And I think it's something that needs to happen sooner rather than later. It's 51 after the hour on Super Talk. All right, so you got a little property and you're looking to do something with it. Maybe you need a storage area to store things on your property, or perhaps you're looking for some additional space to have like a little man cave area or a she shed area, as they call it, or a garage or an event space. Do not do these prefab structures that they wheel in on the back of a truck. What you need to do, and I'm just telling you, this is what you need to do. You need to call Stoltzco. You need to sit down with Will and the crew at Stoltzco. Let them go over exactly what they can do for you from a post-frame building perspective. And let me tell you, these structures, this is not Mama and Daddy's post-frame building. Go to Stoltzco.com and see some of these beautiful, high-quality structures. And there's a reason that Stoltzco is the leader, the one and only in Middle Tennessee when it comes to pole barns, garages, equestrian spaces, event spaces, and yes, those ever-popular barn dominiums. You could do a little mini barn dominium for the mother and father-in-law in your life if you need to get them on your property, or a little mini barn dominium for a guest house or whatnot. Oh, the possibilities are endless. And now at Stoltzco, they have turnkey results, meaning you don't have to make a telephone call. You don't have to contact anybody. You don't have to talk to contractors or subcontractors. You just give them the go-ahead and the plans, and they will give you the keys when they're done. How about that? 615-622-5992, 622-5992, or visit stoltzco.com, STOLTZCO.com.
As Elon Musk departs from his role at Doge, President Trump touts his efforts. And a Hollywood favorite best known for her role in an iconic TV series has passed away. We'll have those stories and more coming up at 4 p.m. on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Y'all are so lucky to be listening to this radio show right now as opposed to any other, if I do say so myself. You know, we have our cohorts across the hallway. They're in that palatial, beautiful studio over there, the sports boys and girl, Dawn, and I love those guys over there, Brent and Dawn and Ron Slay. And
it's not their fault they get treated better than we do.
No, a little probably, but they're not completely innocent, but they're good friends, and I absolutely love them. And I told 3HL, I said, one of the things, and I loved Brian Wilson. I loved listening to Wilson, but I also loved tuning over during sports time and listening to 3HL. I said, I'd miss them. And I hate that I'm taking all of their listeners, which we are. But that said, Brent comes in and says, "Hey, Murph, how's your show going?" And I said, good. It's going great. I said, we just had the Speaker of the House of the state of Tennessee on the show. What are y'all talking about? God is my witness. He said, hermaphrodites.
Okay, then.
Okay. New sports category.
I was like, man, so when y'all think we sink low around here, there's always a next level. Always the next level.
That off-season stuff, baby.
That's exactly right, boys. Yeah. We're down to the bottom of the barrel down there scraping crumbs. We've got another hour to go. We got 3 more hours to go, as a matter of fact. We crank up Fri-Jay next. Get your legal questions in here. And no questions about hermaphrodites, please. Jay St. Clair joins us next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good afternoon. It's 4 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Your weekend weather and a traffic report are coming up. Elon Musk, not the only major departure from Doge. Several top officials he brought in to help lead Doge they're also leaving along with Musk. President Trump, he spoke alongside Elon in the Oval Office today, touting his efforts to overhaul the government.
I just want to say that Elon has worked tirelessly helping lead the most sweeping and consequential government reform program in generations. And the kinds of things that he's found and his people have found. He's brought a group of very smart people in, and they found things that are pretty unbelievable.
And now, how about some entertainment news? Let's turn now to ABC's Andrea Dresdale.
Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence are officially family. During an appearance on the Jennifer Hudson Show Thursday, Murphy revealed that his son Eric married Lawrence's daughter, Jasmine Page, about 2 weeks ago in an intimate church ceremony.
Yeah, we're in-laws. He don't have to pay for the big wedding now.
The Chicago-based drama The Chi has been renewed for another season on Paramount Plus with Showtime. It comes after the 7th season of the show was watched by about 2 million people, according to Paramount. Star Jason Weaver told ABC Audio,
"We want to keep the audience on the edge of their seats. I want the audience to always feel like they're never going to know what's coming around the corner."
Rachel Lee Cook and Freddie Prinze Jr., who co-starred in the beloved 1999 movie She's All That, are back together. The two are reuniting for an upcoming holiday rom-com called The Christmas Affair. Cook confirmed the news in a post shared to Instagram on Thursday.
And some sad entertainment news. Loretta Swit, who won 2 Emmy Awards, playing Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan. Yeah, Major Houlihan. She, of course, as we all know, on the pioneering hit TV series MASH, she has passed away. Margaret Houlihan, what an iconic role. She was 87 years of age. Publicist Harlan Bowles says that Swift died today at her home in New York City, and most likely from natural causes. Again, Loretta Swit dead at the age of 87. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Well, folks continue to run into one another on our interstates here this afternoon. Interstate 40 in particular, still dealing with crashes on 40 westbound and eastbound right around Fessler's Lane. So that is really causing some snaggle there. 440 eastbound after exit 6, we've got a crash. 65 southbound now down in Williamson County at the 840 merge. Got a wreck there. Also, 24 westbound before Whites Creek Pike, we picked up a wreck, and 40 eastbound near the airport, the right lane blocked right there at exit 215. We've got a crash. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes every afternoon on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I just watched a video while you were listening to a very important newscast with Jay Harper over in News Closet B. In the absence of Ken Weaver, never you fear, friends. Ken is back Monday, and Jay will be sliding into the morning role in the absence of Joan Jones, and we appreciate Mr. Harper and his flexibility. But as Jay was delivering the newscast, I was watching a video of a dude sinking 3 separate putts at a Utah Jazz game for $8,500. The putts didn't look crazy, really. It's like 15-footers, 20-footers.
Yeah.
And it would have impressed me. But I just recently played golf with Jay St. Clair, and he was bombing them, baby, from all over the joint. Bombing those putts, whooping my fanny on the golf course. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We do it every Friday. At this time, it's Fri-Jay. We appreciate our man stopping by and offering his legal advice. It's worth every penny we pay for it on a weekly basis. He is my best friend, our legal correspondent, a good Tennessee man, my gambling buddy, and golfing aficionado.
Yeah.
It's Jay St. Clair, everybody. Hey, Jay.
Hey, buddy.
Jay, I got a question for you.
All right.
How are you?
Man, if I were any better, that 1,000 pounds of rock sitting down in the bed of my pickup truck would be up 2 flights of stairs in my backyard. But it's not.
And look, I tried to figure out a way. Let me tell you, and this is easy for me to say because it's true, but I got a thing tomorrow, and the listeners can don't start laughing. The listeners.
Listen, I would expect it. Here was my thought.
I would do it. I would come
I
in.
appreciate it, but well, listen, my son who has a landscaping company and lives an hour away. It was his idea to use this material, and so I said, well, hey. You busy this weekend? He said, yeah. My son's got a baseball practice.
Did you ask him if he was busy before or after you sent me the picture of that rock? Say, hey, Matt, what you doing this weekend?
No, it was right after I sent him a picture of it. And I said, is this what you're saying I should use? And he, yeah, that's it. That's perfect. It'll be great.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. And it's funny, because dogs, and particularly German Shepherds, they will take every step you take, right? And particularly if you're doing something. And so I have been moving rock. And Olivia takes every step that I take. And the stairs I have to go up.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And she's right on your feet. And it's, And so this will show you the smallest of my character, man. It dawned on me that I bet I could make some saddlebags to fit Olivia.
I would do it, man.
And I think she could carry about 15 pounds of rock. And she's up and down the stairs with me every time I go. And so she might as well help.
I mean, how many of those marrow-bones does she get on a daily basis? My goodness.
I'd be embarrassed to tell you. Let me just put it this way.
It's time to start working for them.
Well, you asked me the other day what a pack of cigarettes cost. I told you I don't know, but I'll say this: she's getting 2 packs of the equivalent of 2 packs of cigarettes a day in marrow bones.
Well, it's time to start working some of that off. I think saddlebags are the way. I mean, I don't think she'd even notice. Just she'd tote them up. You live. Well, for those who don't know, you've got a little drainage problem. You got a little.
Yeah, I mean, we've had biblical rain down here, and my house is very much on a slope, and so finally water has started entering my yard from the high side, and it's washing away some of the lawn. And it's funny. My first solution, I tried to put a Band-Aid on it, man. I went and bought 10 bags, 50-pound bags of topsoil, and lugged them up there. And spread it all out. And I said, oh, this looks great. This is going to be perfect. I'll seed it, and everything will be fine. Well, that night a gully washer came, 2 inches of rain. I woke up the next morning. It was gone.
Wow.
I mean, every bit of it was gone. I still don't know where it ended up. And so that's when I said, okay, I got to move the water.
Yeah, you got to just bite the bullet. Now, I'm a little surprised that you didn't come off your wallet and hire this one out. That's a job that I saw.
Yeah, it is, but I thought about it, man. But the problem is such a small job, honestly. I just don't know if I could get anybody to do it because material's not $500, and let's say labor, I don't know. Maybe they probably charge me a couple of grand. It's $2,500. Well, I bet I couldn't get somebody to come out and do a $2,500 job for a month.
The problem is, without getting in too much boring detail, but I know your home. The problem is there's no way to wheelbarrow it up.
No, it's all manual.
It's all by hand.
Well, now because when I put up another wall back there, those guys showed up with a gator, and then they strode over my neighbor's yard. Because there is a gate access back there, and we talked to him, and he said he's fine. So yeah, I think if I were to hire somebody, they show up with a gator, or by side by side, and then they'd load it up and drive it up the hill through my neighbor's yard and come in the backyard. I, on the other hand, am going to make a canine saddlebag
Mm-hmm.
and watch my German Shepherd Olivia take it up there 15 pounds at a time.
Yes. Someone 4460 just said Fri-Jay and his pack shepherd. So I like that idea. Like that a lot.
Well, I didn't know anything about Rip Rap before this week, man. Never knew anything about Rip Rap. I can tell you everything there is to know about Rip Rap.
Rip Rap.
Rip Rap, one word.
Rip Rap. Okay. Well, that'll give
You've
me
seen it.
Is that what is in the back of your truck?
That's what they call it. Yeah,
okay.
That's what they call it. Yep.
Well, you know what we call that? Rocks.
Rocks.
Big rocks.
That's it. That's what I call it.
Just big old
rocks. Well, they can charge more for it if they give it a fancy name. Kind of like lawyers using Latin.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Well, y'all get your questions in for Jay. We do it every week. We absolutely love it, and I hope that you do too. I think you do. 615-737-9986. If you have any questions, you can call them in, or you can dial them in on the super text line, and some questions are already coming in. Jay, have you got – I'm going to be honest with you, and this is just – we know each other a long time, over 2 decades, and I can be nothing but honest. There are so many judicial injunctions, so many lawsuits, so much effort going into the bureaucratic deep state in attempting to stymie Donald Trump. Some of it's, perhaps legitimate, and there's some legitimate questions about where the executive branch power ends and, where congressional power should start and all of those things. But I've just become immune to it. I've just become nose blind to it.
Right.
Are you paying attention to any of this?
I am. There's some of them that I have very particular legal interest in, and it's particularly, for me, this idea of independent agencies. I'm particularly focused on the National Labor Relations Board. Because my thoughts been clarified as we work through all this, man. It's really like in the 20th century, Congress trying to create a fourth branch of government, the bureaucracy.
Right.
Because we've talked about there's 3 branches. Judicial, we get it. That's the core. So although some of these are kind of quasi-judicial. Legislative, we get it. Executive, we get it. And the key sentence in the Constitution, and you and I have read it, it says this: the executive power. There's one executive power. I think it's I don't think it says all. It says the executive power is vested in the President of the United States of America.
Yeah.
All of the executive power. Well, but Congress has created these agencies like the NLRB and some others. And then the president may have the power to appoint the people that are on them, but he doesn't have the authority to fire them. And so that's of a lot of intellectual interest to me, Matt. So I've been following those kind of closely. All of the immigration deportation cases, I'm watching with less detail. That's just going to work itself out at the end.
Agreed.
I think the big bottom line question there is, are they going to, at the end of the day, are they going to have a person by person deportation hearing for the millions of people they want to deport? That's the bottom line question. Right. They were let in mass, right, in millions.
Right.
And there wasn't any individual determination there. Well, does there have to be an individual determination to kick them out of the country? That's what that's really all about, man. And I gotta say that right now my instincts tell me that that's probably what's going to have to happen, with a few exceptions. There was a case that's coming out right now where the Obama administration granted like parole. This concept of paroling people into the country. What an odd word to use. And they just did that in mass.
Right.
They didn't do that person by person. Well, Trump revoked that in mass. He said, no, all these paroles are gone. Now, they may win that one.
Right.
But individual people that snuck across the border and we caught them, and now we want to send them home. They didn't come in under some formal government plan. They snuck in. I think that at the end of the day, every one of those people is going to be entitled to a little hearing. It's not going to be a big hearing. We're not talking about a 2-week trial. It may be a 2-hour hearing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you can't just round them up, put them on a plane, and send them to El Salvador.
Right. The other big piece that I am paying attention to, and I don't want to say it wrong, and if I do, I know you'll get me back in line, but the idea of individual district judges on the federal level being able to create these injunctions that apply nationwide. Do you think the Supreme Court's going to put an answer to that question as to whether or not that's permissible?
No, absolutely. That question was argued, if not, it was last week or two. That very narrow, very specific question is in front of the Supreme Court right now, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get some kind of answer. Don't know that it's going to be definitive. Sometimes they can kind of kick the ball down
They like to split the
bit.
baby a lot at the Supreme Court.
That's right. But I'll say this about that, Matt. Even if they say that you can't do that, here's what I predict they're going to do about that. They will say there are very narrow circumstances where district judges can issue nationwide injunctions. That's what I predict. I don't think they're going to say that that can never be done, and I don't think they're going to say that any judge can do it in any case. They're going to say there's this narrow category where it can be done, and the definition of that category will be vague, and then we'll just keep fighting about it.
Right.
But even the government concedes that the alternative, man, is to just go through the class action process that's been in the law for decades, and just certify a nationwide class. Even the government says that's permissible, and it has the same effect as a nationwide injunction, man. The only difference is it takes a little bit longer to get there, but not much. I mean, we're talking about like a month. You'll see what happens right now is they'll go in and file a lawsuit, and the injunction gets entered 3 days later. Well, you couldn't do that with a class action. You'd go in, file a lawsuit, and you wouldn't get a class. It would slow it down by a month. Well, in the grand scheme of things, does a month really matter?
Well, and this is just a new form of lawfare to me against a president that these folks don't like. And they've decided that they don't really have any authority or power to stop his executive orders. They don't have the authority or power to demand that Congress do so because Congress is controlled by Republicans. So they're going to use to attempt to use the courts to thwart him as best they can. That's fine. But hopefully, and I'm crossing my fingers on it, that we get at least what you're talking about, and that is a Supreme Court that says, you know what? No, I mean, you're not going to gum up the works for the United States of America in this way after this guy was elected to be the president of all the people.
Right. I agree with that. I think they're going to say, I'll just repeat myself. They will say that these nationwide injunctions can't be done except in very narrow circumstances.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love the response that we're getting on the super text line over your, is it Rick Rap?
I think it's Rip Rap. R-I-P-R-A-P. Rip Rap.
Who is smarter, writes 0441. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the pile of rocks in the back of the truck, or the guy that filled the truck with rocks without a plan to move them to his backyard. That's good. That's good.
That's very funny.
I don't know who's smarter, but it ain't AOC. All right, we'll get to more of your questions in a moment with our man, Jay St. Clair. It's 21 after the hour. Get him in here. Richard, you'll be first up on the line. It is The Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. Let's talk for a moment about your health insurance. Don't you go anywhere. Don't walk away from me. I know that it could be a boring situation or a boring conversation, but I can save you a lot of money. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about saving you money. Let's talk about Shane Ring and how he can do that. Because Shane doesn't sell you insurance. You are the customer. And he looks at all of the insurance companies out there, and he finds the one that's right for you. He creates a fit. He's almost a concierge. He's a matchmaker, if you will, because individual needs would demand individual types of insurance, and you can get a lower cost point with some insurance companies based on your needs. And that's what Shane does every single day. Cover Nash is in Brentwood, Tennessee. They're not a call center, which is, it's awful. Don't go to a call center. They'll never stop calling you back when you make that telephone call. They also want you informed about your health coverage and everything that's on the open market today. So if you are in need of insurance, or if you don't know if you're paying too much, call Shane. He's never going to press you into doing anything you don't want to do, and he's going to inform you and arm you with an education about your insurance. He is my go-to guy, and he can be yours as well. Take control of your money and take control of your insurance. Go to covernash.com or call 615-465-0023. 465-0023. Tell him Matt Murphy sent you to Cover Nash.
Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell answering critics today. And we'll also have your closing money news. Those stories coming up at the bottom of the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
One of the reasons I love Fri-Jay so much, I mean, obviously, Jay and I are great friends, and Jay is a great legal mind, the finest legal mind that I've ever met. But also, you never know what's going to come up. I have people, Jay, sending me photos of their riprap work.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you got to forward that to me.
Oh, yeah.
I sent you pictures of riprap. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Doc writes in and says, riprap is used to cover archaeological sites to discourage artifact hunters. You're welcome.
Wow.
Well,
wow. Okay, now that's cool.
That's very cool.
That's cool.
All right, some more serious questions coming in, too, and we'll get to your serious questions in just a moment. Right now, Richard in Murfreesboro has a question for Jay St. Clair. Hello, Richard. Good afternoon.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I'll kind of make it quick. My stepdad and my mother have been married since 2004. They've got a nice little house together. And I kind of heard that he is going, when he passes, he's going to will everything to his daughters from another marriage. Just a general question. If that was the case, would that leave my mother homeless in Tennessee?
Yeah, she can't be cut out, Richard. By law, the surviving spouse gets some share of the estate, and how much of that is a function of how long they were married. And how long have they been married?
Since 94.
So 2004. No, she will take 40%. Even if the will purports to cut her out, then by law, she can still claim 40% in Tennessee.
Okay, easy enough.
Yep.
Yeah, my sister.
You can't
Georgia.
disown. You cannot disown your spouse.
Okay, great. That's pretty much all I need to know. I need to know if I need to sit down and have a talk with them.
Yep. No, I'm glad you called, and I'm glad I actually looked specifically at that question a couple of weeks ago. So I have a high confidence that this legal advice is actually worth something.
Okay, great. Yeah, my sister called me from Georgia and said Georgia is like that, but Tennessee is not.
Yeah. Well, ask her where she got her law degree.
Mm-hmm.
I bet she got hers at Harvard.
Well.
Ask her, well, where'd you get your law degree? Harvard or Walmart? It's about the same thing.
Richard, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, Jay, where'd you get your law degree, buddy?
Yale.
Where'd you get your law degree, buddy? So funny. It's never not funny. Never not funny.
Jay Harper, that will always be funny.
It will always be funny. Speaking of Jay Harper, it's time for the news. We'll get to more of your questions coming up in just a moment, plus Rip Rap Talk on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Wow, Jay St. Clair knows I exist. It's made my day. Hey, I am Jay Harper, and I've got your top stories here. It's 4:30. We'll get you a weather forecast, and we'll also get you a traffic report. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell responds to accusations of his office doxing ICE agents and obstructing ICE operations here in town. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry. She's got more.
Their intention to release the agents' names, and once that information was made public and they were aware of it, those names were immediately scrubbed. The mayor is facing sharp criticism from state and federal officials, some accusing his office of putting ICE and HSI agents at risk and misusing taxpayer money. This comes as part of a broader federal investigation into his administration, but Mayor O'Connell denies any wrongdoing, saying no taxpayer dollars were spent improperly and that his office has never blocked ICE operations in the city. He says the goal of the city's ICE data reporting is to promote transparency while prioritizing the safety of federal agents.
We've had a training process, and I will say our Metro Nashville Police Department has been very effective in this. We will be reviewing not just how that information is recorded as it comes into publicly available processes, but also then what does get posted. The interest here is just in transparency. It is not in obstruction.
Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles, he posted on social media this morning that the U.S. congressional investigation into O'Connell is in motion already. Now with today's closing money news, let's turn to Wayne Cabot.
Major indexes closed mixed. The Dow was up 54 points. The S&P ended trading about even, losing half a point, and the Nasdaq index was down 62. Investors appear to be wary of twists and turns in the tariff trade war between the U.S. and China. The Commerce Department reports consumer prices rose just 2.1% in April, compared with a year earlier, and down from 2.3% in March. Excluding food and energy, core prices rose 2.5% from a year earlier. Closing arguments in the legal face-off between Google and the Justice Department. It will determine the tech company's fate after its dominant search engine was declared an illegal monopoly. The Justice Department wants a federal judge to ban Google's lucrative deal with Apple and force it to sell its Chrome browser. And a new analysis by Redfin shows the U.S. housing market had nearly 34% more sellers than buyers.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We've had some fairly severe storms pass through parts of our listening area. That may be contributing to some of the crashes here. Anyway, first of all, Clarksville, Montgomery County, 24 westbound just before exit 11. We picked up an accident there. 65 southbound down in Williamson County at the 840 merge. Still working on that wreck. 40 westbound after Fessler's Lane. That accident still being dealt with. 40 eastbound at exit 245 out in Wilson County. A crash being dealt with there. And Murfreesboro Pike at Donaldson Pike. A wreck reported. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes, every afternoon on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Whether you're trimming bushes, cutting grass, or just trying to keep weeds and insects out of your lawn and landscaping, they've got it all at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. If you're a seasoned professional or a homeowner seeking advice, they are your one-stop shop, and I love this about them. Now, obviously, they are where the pros go, and they have all of the best supplies. They have all of the best product. If you are a do-it-yourself kind of person and you want to keep the insects or whatnot or weeds, all of your lawn care needs can be found at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply, and they beat big box store prices time and time and time again. Plus, they have the professional-grade equipment that you need to keep the lawn and the landscaping looking tip-top. 7 convenient locations in Middle Tennessee. You're never too far from one of their stores. I have the locations right here: Nashville, Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Brentwood, Mower, Hendersonville, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. That's all over our community. Let's go where the pros go. Let's go to Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. If you want to do more sleuthing and investigation on your own, go to DickensSupply.com. That's DickensSupply.com. When you call or talk to one of the professionals as you walk through the door, as you're looking for quality parts, products, and the best advice around, tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy, Jay St. Clair, and you. It is Fri-Jay. We're in the midst of it. 4:38, almost 4:39. We'll get to more of your telephone calls momentarily. A lot of you writing your questions in. One person says, if there's rock music and there's rap music, it stands to reason that somebody should come up with rip rap music. Okay.
Ooh.
Well, that's pretty good, too.
I like that.
I've got to figure out a way to transfer all of these photos that I'm getting from the super text line to my phone so I can get them to you, because there's a lot of good ones out there. Man, oh, man.
Oh, yeah. It's great. Yeah, it's great.
A lot of rip rap stories. And I got we've got a couple of new listeners. One of the new listeners looks like a shepherd puppy, and the other is a little muddy-looking dog. This fella says, here's my two watching Jay and Matt on television on YouTube. How about that?
How sweet.
We got four-leggers watching us now. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So the Matt Murphy fan club is doubled in size.
That's what they obviously say. 1 and 1. That's right, 1 and 1. Would equal to. And then, Patrina, one final pleasantry, and we'll get to some serious questions of the law. Patrina writes in and says, nincompoops is the best part of the day, but Fri-Jay is the best part of the week.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
And then she went on to say this, Jay. Hello, handsome. Oh, hey to you too, Matt. Well.
Hey, what was her name, Matt?
Patrina.
Ooh.
Very interesting.
Did she text that in?
She did.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk after the show about some digits.
Yeah, we will.
I need to have a little digit discussion with you, man.
I'm right there. I'd much rather talk about digits than rip rap with you, because I know you look. And the other general line of thought here, Jay, is: are there no teenage boys in your neighborhood at all?
Well, let me think of the right way to say it. This isn't going to be apt, but it'll get the point across. Where I live is not quite Belmead, but it's the suburbs of Belmead.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the chances are of hiring teenage boys in Belmead to come haul riprap up 2 flights of stairs? I mean, I would have to pay them in BMW. And that ain't happening. That ain't happening. The truth of the matter, Matt, is it's been, I have balance. I'm balance challenged. I got really poor balance, and I do balance exercises. So this has been a great exercise. I got 50 pounds of riprap, and I'm going up these 2 flights of stairs.
That's actually pretty good for you. That's good.
Yeah, it is. That's my justification.
All right. 0124 says, for Fri-Jay, my wife is dealing with the selling of her parents' home in a case where the state is recovering for both parents' stay in the same nursing home prior to death.
Right.
Should I, as the spouse, be required to sign the deed for the sale to be completed? We get nothing from the sale, and I don't believe the home has transferred to us. Signed, Keith.
Read that again. I couldn't quite follow it.
Yeah,
all.
sure.
Who owns the house? The house right now is titled to the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them, I guess one died, and then the other one had. But because they got some money from the state for nursing, now the state wants the house.
Well, I'll just read it as he wrote it. I don't want to assume anything.
Okay.
My wife is dealing with the selling of her parents' home in a case where the state's recovering for both parents' stay in the same nursing home prior to their death.
Oh, okay.
So
they're both
passed away. Should I, as the spouse, be required to sign the deed for the sale to be completed? We get nothing from the sale, and I don't believe the home has transferred to us.
Well, it wouldn't transfer it to y'all. It would transfer to her. So, no, I don't think your name's on the deed. I mean, unless in the will they gave it to the two of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But that would surprise me. So I don't think you own it. I think that the only way you would have an ownership interest is if in the will they left the house to your wife and you, which would be a little bit unusual. So my guess is they either died without a will, in which case it goes just to your wife, or maybe they had a will and it went to her wife. But so unless you were unless the portion of the house was given to you in the will, you don't have any ownership interest, which means you don't have to sign a quick claim deed or anything else. Truth of the matter is, you're really not involved in that transaction.
Right. Very good.
Legally, I mean, emotionally you are, right? But legally, no.
Makes sense. I hope that answers your question, Keith. Matt, Ask Jay, is a farm owned before marriage subject to divorce proceedings?
Yes. Yes. I mean, when you get married, well, let me think about this for a minute. Yes, it's subject to. Let me tell you how that works. Let's say before you got married, you owned a piece of property, and that piece of property is yours. It's just your name's the only person on that deed. And then you get married, and you don't put your wife's name on the deed. She doesn't own the property. You own it separately, independently. And then you go to a divorce. Well, the judge is going to, there's no formula for deciding how property gets divided in a divorce. It's done equitably. That's the word the law uses. And if I were a judge looking at the situation, I would probably take that independently owned piece of property into account, but that doesn't mean it goes 50-50. I would want to know how long were y'all married. I want to know, did y'all work that property together? Was it timber property? Was it farm property? Was it part of the married estate? Or did it sit out over there separately? So I'm sorry to give a lawyer-like answer, but that's the way we have to do it sometimes. It is not treated as if it was commonly owned, because it was not commonly owned, unless you put her name on the deed, which I'm guessing you didn't. So she's not automatically entitled to 50% of that. But the judge will take it into account. And the more that it had to do with y'all's marriage, the more the judge is likely to treat it as being part of the marital estate. If it just sat out there, was an independent investment, your wife was never involved in that, the judge may not even consider it. So the answer, I'm sorry, I didn't write his name down. I've been writing people's names down.
No, that's no name there. It's 1471.
Okay, good. Well, so the answer 1471 is an answer that the lawyers like to give a lot because we make a lot of money off of it.
Oh, here we go.
And Jay Harper, that answer is, it depends. It depends. I'd have to know a lot more facts, but no, it's not like a house that y'all have where you're both on the deed.
You know what I say, Jay, when Jay Harper, when St. Clair does the "It's depends" line. You know what else goes in depends? Poop.
Yes. Yes, I surmised that.
A lot of poop. No, that's well said. And so, Jay, if I'm hearing you correctly, a judge, if you think about it as a scale and, that equitably, and they're trying to...
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly right.
They might use that farmland, as a part of that, but...
That's right.
But it might not carry the same weight as it would if it was purchased after marriage or whatever.
That's right. Yeah. You said that exactly right. Yeah, put them on the scale. How much weight is given depends on all the facts and circumstances that we don't have.
That makes sense. 47 after the hour. Let's talk to Ernie. He's in Cottontown with a question for our legal man, Jay St. Clair. Hello, Ernie.
Good evening, guys. Love your show.
Thank you, Ernie.
I've got a quick question. I'll try to be quick. I never was, but...
Well, Ernie, you're going to have to talk fast. If you're going to be quick, you're going to have to talk a lot faster than you're talking. I think you talk even slower than I do, Ernie.
I hung out in Gardendale and Tarrant City a whole lot back in the day when Matt was riding a tricycle. Anyway,
Ernie, you talk slow, but you're quick with these jokes.
Yeah. Well, I've got a farm. My wife and I have been married 9 years, and I made a will. It's in my name. I had it before it was willed to me, and it's in my name. Been married 9 years. She put $50,000 in it when we built the home. I took 5 acres and set aside and willed it to her and her children.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of it goes to my children. Well,
Yeah, okay.
it appears now that I may outlive her. I always figured she'd outlive me. We don't know, but she's definitely
No, we don't
sick.
know. We don't know, Ernie. We sure don't.
If I outlive her, can I change my will?
Yep.
I'm not going to do her 2 children. I'm not going to mistreat them, but I'm not going to give them $250,000.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You absolutely can change your will, and you ought to change your will, Ernie, because your wife no longer is alive. So once she passes away, and everybody listening to this ought to be thinking about this. If you're married and then your spouse dies, then change your will. And absolutely, you can change the will, Ernie, and you can change it to anything you want to. At that point, if you're not married, you're not bound to give anybody anything. If you want to leave your estate 100% to Matt Murphy, you're free to do that.
Oh, Ernie,
Well,
I need to talk.
Yeah, well, I made him at the Glock store last year, but I've had cataracts this year, and I ain't going to get to come, dog.
Oh, Ernie, I hate that. And I remember you from last year. Dadgummit, I wish I could see you again.
Well,
I'm the Vietnam vet.
Yep. Well, if you outlive your wife, Ernie, yes, you have every legal. You change your will right now, but you definitely ought to change it if you outlive her, and you can split it up among your kids and her kids as however you think's right.
Ernie, I love you, and I'm sorry.
And I trust you to do the right thing,
yeah,
Ernie.
And I'm sorry I got to run, but I do, Ernie, and I'm sorry that we're going to miss you tomorrow at the Glock store. Let me see. If it can be this is interesting. If it can be proven, and these hypotheticals sometimes wear me out, but if it can be proven that someone other than Joe, well, you know what? I retract this question because it doesn't make sense. Because it says if it can be proven that someone other than Biden used the auto pen for pardons, can they be overturned? Right. Well, the purpose of an auto pen is so the president wouldn't have to be there to sign it anyway.
Yeah, well, I'll say this about all that, man. This is going to be really interesting because I do not know the answer to that question. Let's say it turns out that they can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that somebody signed pardons and Joe Biden didn't even know about it. I don't know how they could ever prove that. But let's say that proof develops.
Okay.
Then I don't think they're valid, man.
Wow.
But, I mean, that is sui generis. And I know you get excited when I talk Latin.
That just sounds so pretty. I don't know what it means, but it sounds so pretty. What sui generis? That means real generous, like a tip.
One of a kind. It's one of a kind.
Never happened.
I don't
before.
think, and no one has ever conceived that somebody would forge the president's signature to an important official document. I mean, if you put that in a movie, people would say you're crazy.
Wow. Well,
so that one is absolutely off the map.
But the trick there is to prove it. I mean, that's
right.
That's the trick. And some would say, "We'll bring Joe Biden before a deposition or whatever and question him." Well, I mean, if I'm Joe Biden's attorney, then, and I'm not arguing this, but I would argue, well, he's gotten worse. He was fine back then, but now he can't remember the names now, but he knew them then. That's what you would argue, and that's difficult to prove, but that's interesting. That's a different answer I thought you'd give.
But I'll be honest with you, that's like how many angels can dance on the head of a pin.
Right.
Because they will never be able to prove conclusively that Biden did not know that these papers were being signed. It's just not going to happen.
I hear you. Well, Jay, sadly, we are out of time. It's been a lot of fun. I would do some extended Fri-Jay, but you got Rip Rap to move, buddy.
Maybe I get Patrina to help me load that stuff this weekend. What do you think?
Patrina's she said that the Yale joke's always hilarious, and I am Jay's secret crush. I'm the OG crush. Jay, you know what that means? OG crush?
I have no idea.
That is the original secret crush on Jay St. Clair. That's OG stands for original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I
got to get out more often, I guess.
Well, I guess you do. And we're playing a little matchmaker here. Patrina said something about talking digits. Whoa.
All right, I'm starting to blush. I'm going to go see my Rip Rap.
on that happy note, you go move some Rip Rap around. Jay, we love you. Have a great weekend, friend.
Love you, brother.
All right, take care. There you go. It's 53 after the hour on Super Talk. Friends, if you're out and about this weekend, should be a gorgeous weekend to get out and enjoy some of this beautiful Tennessee late spring and maybe quote-unquote early summer weather. What about stop by Savory Spice? If you're thinking about popping on the grill this weekend, what about some spices, some delicious seasonings, some meat rub for all of the things you pop on the grill at Savory Spice? They've got it. They've got everything for grilling season at Savory Spice and so much more. Anything for the veggies, anything for whatever you're conceiving in your mind to cook for family and friends. They have something that can make it better at Savory Spice. Plus, if you don't know your way around a grill, if you don't know your way around the kitchen and you're working on that, then you need to get to Savory Spice. They have so many different ideas, so many different spice and easy line of products. I mean, they're just great at what they do. They spice up our lives. They spice up our kitchens. It's Savory Spice. If you want to up your food game, up your spice game. You want to up your spice game, go to Savory Spice. Right off the square in Franklin, you got to go and see for yourself. Tell Holly and David that I say hello and that I sent you to the one and only Savory Spice.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
In the aftermath a couple of years ago of the Dobbs v. Jackson decision, the overturning of Roe v. Wade, many of us who are pro-life thought, well, this battle finally has been won, at least in the state of Tennessee and other pro-life states. I'm sad to report that that is not the case. Did you know, for example, that last year abortions actually increased by nearly 1%? Increased after the overturning of Roe. That translates to over 100,000 additional babies' lives lost. The Ministry of Preborn's on the front lines, advocating for those beautiful souls who've never had an opportunity to grow up and live. Clinics are strategically located in the country's highest abortion areas, ready to support women to make decisions about their baby's future, the right decisions. They have learned, has Preborn, that with an ultrasound, that can change a woman's attitude and change a baby's future. Because when they see that ultrasound, the women more than double the opportunity of them saying yes to life. Once she hears that heartbeat, her chances of her baby's life doubles. Last year alone, Preborn rescued over 67,000 babies. Will you help be the next person to help rescue a baby? It's only $28, or for 4 ultrasounds, $140. Say baby when you dial pound 250, pound 250, say the keyword baby, or visit preborn.com/Murphy. That's preborn.com/Murphy.
Could a U.S. deal with Iran be close at hand? Well, another close call at a major U.S. airport and changes for those arriving at Nashville's airport. We'll have those stories and more at 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, Matt Murphy's got an exclusive that I'm busting out in just about 5 or 6 minutes. You will not hear this anywhere else. Not on any television station, no other radio station, because we have it exclusively. This is about to go out. Senator Marsha Blackburn has written a letter that she is about to drop to the Honorable Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States of America, requesting a full investigation by the Attorney General into Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell. I have the letter that is about to drop in the next few minutes on social media platforms and publicly. We will share that letter for you exclusively first on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and that is coming up next. Stand by for that.
Good afternoon. It's 5 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A full weekend weather forecast and another traffic report are on the way. During a press conference inside the White House today, President Trump appeared optimistic that talks with Iran could lead to an agreement.
I think we have a chance of making a deal with Iran also. They don't want to be blown up. They would rather make a deal. And I think that could happen in the not too distant future.
The FAA investigating another close call at a U.S. airport as we hear from ABC's Alex Stone.
SkyWest 5273.
A SkyWest Airlines regional jet and a United Airlines Airbus A320 were both cleared for takeoff on parallel runways in San Francisco. The FAA says without authorization, the United plane turned into the path of the SkyWest aircraft. Heard on liveatc.net as an air traffic controller asked the United pilots what they were doing.
Yeah, 1152. How'd you wind up over there?
According to Flight Radar 24, the planes came within under 2,000 feet of lateral separation and only about 275 feet of vertical separation.
Back here in Nashville, Nashville's International Airport is designating a specific drop-off area for Uber and Lyft travelers beginning next week, starting June 3rd. That's this Tuesday. All travelers using a rideshare service to get to BNA will no longer be dropped off at departures on Terminal Drive. The rideshare drop-offs will now be at the Ground Transportation Center. That's on the ground floor of the Terminal Garage 2. This is the same area where passengers arriving at BNA are picked up by rideshare services and were picked up by like the hotel shuttles and whatnot. All of that will continue uninterrupted. And sad news from the world of entertainment. Loretta Swit, who won 2 Emmy Awards, playing Major Margaret Houlihan, Hot Lips. Yes, we all know Hot Lips from the pioneering TV show MASH. Loretta Swit has passed away today. She was 87 years of age. Publicist Harlan Bowles says that Swit died today at her home in New York City, and it is thought that the 87-year-old actress more than likely died from natural causes. Again, Loretta Swit passing away today at the age of 87. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Looking at traffic cameras, actually traffic moving fairly well around the city. However, we do have a handful of issues. First of all, the biggest of which is on 440 eastbound near exit 6. A wreck there has got some lanes blocked. 440 westbound after Fessler's Lane, that has been a problem all day, it seems, and it is still one. There is a crash there. Also in Williamson County near Arrington, I-840 eastbound near exit 42. A crash reported there. And finally, an injury accident near the airport, Murfreesboro Pike at Donaldson Pike. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes, every afternoon on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Glad to have you with us on this. Pardon me, I was just finishing up a little tweet here, little X post, if you will, X machine up and running. As we have a Matt Murphy Show exclusive that I want to tell you about. Don't forget Nincompoops in the News coming up later on this hour with Jay Harper. Jay going for a what's that called in bowling? A turkey?
Yeah.
Yeah, going for the turkey this week, and was disqualified one of the days.
It's impressive.
I mean, it's pretty solid work. A lot of pressure, though. A lot of pressure on today's Nincompoop story for Jay Harper. See, you and I, no pressure.
Just letting it all hang out.
Just whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens. Jay Harper, a lot of compression going on there, like he's at the bottom of the sea. All right, so speaking of pressure, Freddie O'Connell's got a lot of pressure on him as there are numerous calls for numerous investigations. The House of Representatives investigating Freddie O'Connell as to what he did, what he knew, what he didn't know, what he decided to do, what the city attorneys told him to do with regard to stymieing the efforts and potentially doxing immigration and customs enforcement officials. We've got a Murphy Show exclusive here as Marsha Blackburn, Senator Marsha Blackburn, who appeared on our show yesterday, and we talked to Marsha about the possibility of the Senate investigating Freddie O'Connell as well. Marsha Blackburn has taken it up a notch and taken it to the next level, and I want to read you a copy of the letter that we received exclusively on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN that is about to drop. Marsha Blackburn about to drop this on socials. I just dropped it on social media, and I'm going to read it to you as written by our good senator. Via electronic transmission, May 30, 2025, the Honorable Pam Bondi, Attorney General of the United States Department of Justice, Washington, D.C., 20530. Dear Attorney General Bondi, I write to express my deep concern with the recent actions of Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell and his efforts to obstruct the work of the Trump administration to secure our border, deport criminal illegal aliens, and make America safe again. After a joint operation conducted by the Tennessee Highway Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement led to the arrests of nearly 200 illegal immigrants in Nashville, Mayor O'Connell signed an executive order requiring city departments, including local law enforcement, to report all communications they have with federal immigration authorities. The intent of this executive order is clear: obstruct ICE operations in Nashville and tip off criminal illegal aliens to avoid apprehension and detention. But the mayor did not stop there. This week, O'Connell publicly released the names of multiple Homeland Security investigations and ICE agents, along with their immigration enforcement activities. By doxing these hardworking law enforcement officers who are working to make Nashville community safe, the mayor has placed them directly in harm's way. Specifically, He has revealed the names of these brave men and women to the criminal members of Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and other violent gangs. At a time when ICE officers have faced a 413% increase in assaults, demonizing these brave law enforcement officers will not be tolerated. Senator Marsha Blackburn continues. That is why I'm urging you to launch a formal investigation into Mayor O'Connell's obstruction of immigration enforcement operations in Nashville. Specifically, I respectfully request that you examine, number one, whether Mayor O'Connell has willfully obstructed ICE or HSI enforcement operations in the Nashville area. Number two, whether Mayor O'Connell has aided and abetted or facilitated in any way illegal immigration or the evasion of detection from federal immigration authorities. And number three, whether Mayor O'Connell's recent actions have in any way contributed to Nashville's status as a sanctuary city. President Trump and his administration are already hard at work deporting criminal illegal aliens and making our communities safe again. And an investigation into the mayor's conduct would be a tremendous step forward in holding rogue mayors and local officials to account. The people of Tennessee deserve nothing less. Thank you for your attention to this urgent matter. Sincerely, Marsha Blackburn, United States Senator. You can read that yourself on my social media platform at Matt Murphy Show on X. I'll get it up on Facebook as soon as we get to a break here, but wanted to share that with you as soon as we got it across our desk exclusively on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So, look, this is the biggest bomb that has gone off in this ridiculous story so far. And I say ridiculous story, ridiculous on the part of the mayor's office. I believe that Freddie O'Connell thought he was, giving a wink and a nod to the liberals in this community when he went off about how ICE is not making this community safer. I mean, we played the clip ad nauseum. I won't make you puke with it again. But remember when he had a hastily called press conference and he went over, we don't believe these people are making our communities safer and they're making our communities less safe. It was just a bunch of garbage. Well, that's one thing. But when he signed the executive order and demanded to know where ICE was and when they were where they were, we scratched our heads and wonder why why is he doing that? Why would he do that? Well, combine that with the belief, and I demanded an audit on the part of Cameron Sexton. Cameron Sexton, as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, I think he has the gravitas in that body for the House, the state of Tennessee, to engage in an audit of Nashville. Because I think the voters deserve to know whether or not their money is going to protect illegal aliens, which is what it seems is happening. This belonging fund was seeded by the city of Nashville. This belonging fund perhaps has money directly going into illegal alien activities or illegal alien defense funds. It's wrong that the taxpayer dollars would go into this. Secondarily, we now know that 2 congressional committees have announced a federal investigation into Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell, accusing the mayor of obstructing ICE in the wake of this immigration operation in early May. The Committee on Homeland Security, chaired by U.S. Representative Mark Green, and the Committee on the Judiciary of the U.S. House of Representatives both sent a letter demanding investigative materials from the mayor as a part of a federal effort to conduct oversight of state and local jurisdictions that endanger American communities. So that's going on. There was public pressure by U.S. Representative Andy Ogles, who has also appeared on this show earlier this week, who held a press conference on Memorial Day calling for the investigation. Those investigations have begun. Now, on the Senate side of things, U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn, as we just announced, is calling on Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate Mayor O'Connell. Freddie, all I can tell you is this. The press conference that you held earlier today will not cut it. You say that you welcome a federal investigation. I heard you say it during your press conference earlier today. Well, you're going to get it, buddy. You're going to get all the federal investigation that you want. We want to know what you knew, who you talked to, why in the world that ICE agents' names made an appearance on a Metro Nashville website. why you saw fit to take those down when Fox 17 and Karen Aguilar exposed those names. She exposed you for exposing those names, I should say. Well, if you saw fit to take them down and you initially called it a mistake, we want to know how this quote-unquote mistake was made to begin with. Exactly who made the decision to post these names and why. Why were these names posted publicly? And why were these agents doxxed? These are good questions. They demand answers. Let me give a piece of personal advice to Freddie O'Connell. I've seen these types of things go on for a long time. Long time. And I understand that you were playing to what you consider to be your base. And I can kind of figure out what happened, Freddie. You're talking to the wife at home. You're sitting around and talking to a lot of your liberal friends about this, and you're just disgusted about it all. And your friends over there in Salem Town and your buddies over in Germantown, East Nashville, these woke communities in and around the city of Nashville. You surround yourself with many of these liberal types, and they're all disgusted about this going on. And they ask you, you're the mayor. What are you going to do? And you decided that you would hold a press conference and that you would do something and you would re-up an executive order and you would get to the bottom of it and you weren't going to let this stand. You kowtowed to the likes of Sandra Sepulveda. Did I pronounce it correctly?
You got it. Yeah.
Thank you, Weber. And that Jenny Welsh and others on the Metro Council. Terry Vo is another one who seemingly value the rights as they are of illegal aliens more so than the rights of legal citizens in our community. You decided to do that. And that has led you to where we are today. You decided to put those names up on the web. The buck stops with the mayor's office, sir. So now it's time for you to step forward and come clean. Now it's time for you to step forward and fall on that sword. There's, I suppose, a way out of this. But if you double and triple down as you did earlier today, I don't think this is going to end well for you, Freddie, because the time has come where we're going to turn the lights on. And you started this. You were hiding in the darkness. Nashville was hiding in the darkness as a pseudo-sanctuary city. But now you've turned the lights on. And we're going to find out what's going on in Nashville. We're going to find out if any money is going to organizations that are funding illegal alien activity. We're going to find out exactly if you aided and abetted individuals to attempt to stymie ICE. We're going to figure that out. And I don't believe, if from what I hear from a funding mechanism has been going on, I don't believe that you're going to be able to withstand a financial audit. I don't believe you're going to be able to withstand this level of light and this level of scrutiny. Maybe criminally, but I doubt it politically. And maybe not criminally. As was said, gosh, what was this? Man, I'm going to screw this up. Remember the principal or the vice principal in Vice Principal Richard, the Breakfast Club. Remember the vice principal?
Yeah.
Because he said, show Dick some respect.
Yeah.
Well, regardless of what his name was, I remember what he said. And Freddie, it bodes for this subject as well. You mess with the bull, young man, you get the horns. With 2 separate congressional committee hearings with a request for the Attorney General of the United States to investigate this, and with Tom Homan announcing that he plans on coming into the city to see what the hell's going on. You get the horns, Freddie.
Vernon.
Principal Richard, or Vice Principal Richard Vernon. Show Dick some respect. It's 20 after the hour on Super Talk. Did you know that 70% of cyber attacks that happen online happen to small and medium-sized businesses? Oftentimes, these are ransomware-style attacks where they hold your business operations hostage for payment. Well, Michael at Alpha and Omega Computer Consultation taught me about this. They are experts in their field and have been since 1998. Michael explained to me over breakfast one morning that a lot has changed, as you might expect, since 1998, but their commitment to your protection from evolving threats has not. Their commitment to compliance for all industries has not. Business continuity and a local help desk are crucial to assisting you in your day-to-day business operations. If you are concerned about IT, if you're concerned about anything involving computers or cybersecurity, you need to call Alpha and Omega Computer Consultants. They are simply the best at what they do. If you're a business owner, as a matter of fact, just make a call. And you know what? If you talk to Michael on the phone and he gives you the thumbs up and says, man, I think you check out. I think you're secure. He'll tell you that. And you have peace of mind. But if you're not, don't you want to know that as well? If you're a business owner, get with Michael and Alpha and Omega Computer Consultation. Give them a call at 615-784-0096, 784-0096, or online at A&O, now spell out and, so A&O, that stands for Alpha and Omega, A&O.net.
Joe Biden making his first public comment since his cancer diagnosis today. A deadly tornado in Kentucky and an NBA star being accused of sexual assault. We'll have those stories and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you, Mr. Jay Harper. Jay, Chris Webber and I have a loose bet going on.
Okay.
All right?
Uh-huh.
Yes or no? There's no right or wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? Did you or did you not have the hots for Hot Lips Houlihan back in the day? You know who Hot Lips is?
Oh, well, by all means. Not really. Yeah,
we don't believe you.
Just not really my type.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we just been hearing about her death. We've just been hearing about her death a lot. That's all we're here to say.
Well, Nurse Abel was another matter. But
Nurse Abel.
Yeah.
Who was Nurse Abel?
Oh, Nurse Abel on MASH.
I was never a MASH guy.
Oh,
It was a little before my time.
Yeah, well.
Minute before my time.
Started in 1970, ended in 1983.
Yeah, with it was the I think it still ranks as the most watched scripted television show of all time. I think that's right.
Well, I do believe that the finale.
That's what I'm saying.
The finale is still the most watchable.
The most. I mean, obviously Super Bowls and the Oscars and these types of things, but but as scripted shows go, the finale is the most watched. I can't watch it, and I'll tell you why. The Suicide is Painless, the theme.
Right.
It just reminds me of my stepfather. My stepfather, it was weird. He would watch MASH, and he was a Vietnam War veteran and had some psychological issues.
Yeah.
And you didn't talk while MASH was on. And it was weird because MASH was a comedy, right? And I know that it got poignant, and I know that it was touching.
I mean, it was kind of called a dramedy.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah,
sure. Okay.
right.
But I just remember for the brief time that I was in that household with my Lane, you didn't talk during MASH. And I remember that for the end credits where the song was playing, I just remember a sense of joy that we could move around again without fear of getting smacked. You know? Yeah, well. Anyway, Loretta Swit, dead at the age of but I do appreciate this, Jay, in your reporting. It's perfectly okay to say somebody died of natural causes.
Yeah.
And I love that. I mean, it's okay. Why has it got to be? When we were kids, people died of old age.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Not anymore.
I mean, the woman, 87 years of age,
Yeah, long and healthy life.
Yes, absolutely.
Good for her. All right, Ron is in Columbia with a concept on the Freddie story, new developing news. If you're just joining us, Senator Marsha Blackburn is calling on Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate Mayor Freddie O'Connell. What do you think, Ron?
Well, I think that a great name for him would be Freddy O'Kruger, kind of like the character from Nightmare on Elm Street. He's going to kill somebody someday if he keeps this up.
Well, that's true. There's no question about that. We've been trying to settle on a nickname ourselves. I think Freddie the Ferret is my favorite for some reason. I don't know why, but it is.
No, that's a good one.
I like it, Ron.
Thanks for taking my call.
Of course, Ron. Thank you. No, I like it. Freddie O'Kruger instead of Freddie O'Connell. That's pretty good. RD is in Culleoka. Hello. Is this RD? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Hi, Matt.
What's up, RD?
Well, man, I love your show. I thoroughly enjoy your nincompoop sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a nincompoop story I think you and the guys will really enjoy hearing, if I may.
All right, sure.
Okay, good. Prior to relocating from Nashville down here in southern Murray County on our little horse farm, I'm from Nashville, and I had a long career with the Nashville Metro PD. One night while on the graveyard shift, I come in fell in behind a car that was just all over the road. So we hit the emergency equipment. It took him a few seconds to realize what was going on. He jerked this car, and he stopped it with the front two wheels on the sidewalk. As in the summer, I walked up to the driver's side. The window was down. The guy's head was bobbing up and down. His eyes were half closed. Matt, the passenger seat, floorboard, and seat was overflowed with empty beer cans, beer bottles. I asked him for his driver's license. He handed them to me. Going through the 4 mile, I said, "Mr. So-and-so, you've been drinking?" He cocked his head up with one eye and looked at me and said, "You think I drive this way sober?" But hey, the story's not over. So, again, going through the 4 miles, I said, "Well, let me ask you, just how much have you had to drink?" Matt, you ask any police officer nationwide, when they ask someone that question, it's always two beers.
Yeah.
2 drinks.
2 drinks.
I said, well, just how much have you had to drink? He looked at me, he said, hell, I don't know. 60, 70, I've been drinking this stuff all day and all night long. So I'm standing in the middle of the road, 3 o'clock in the morning, laughing my butt off. I go, where do you live? He was just a few blocks away, so I took him home.
Boy, oh boy, look at you. How about you?
But listen to this. I had to help him up to the front door. He couldn't walk. And when his wife opened the door, she looked at him and glared. Well, I see that SOB is drunk again.
Oh, no. That's all. That's a great, Artie, that's a great story. I'm glad you shared it. You're right. That's a great nincompoop story. I appreciate it so much. We'll get to nincompoops in the news coming up next. It's 31 after the hour on Super Talk.
Good afternoon, 31 minutes past 5 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A full weekend weather forecast and another traffic report are just a couple of minutes away. Former President Joe Biden spoke at a military memorial event in his home state of Delaware today. Afterward, he took questions about his plans to treat the cancer he recently revealed. ABC's Stephen Portnoy, he was there and reports.
Saying he's optimistic about his prognosis, Joe Biden tells reporters he'll be taking a pill to treat his prostate cancer.
And for the next 6 weeks and then another one. And the expectation is we're going to be able to beat this.
Senate Republicans now plan to hold a hearing next month probing Biden's mental fitness while in office. In Delaware, Biden tried to make light of the issue, highlighted by authors Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson.
You can see that. I'm mentally incompetent and I can't walk and I could beat the hell out of both of them.
At least one person was killed and multiple people have been injured as severe weather, including a possible EF tornado, swept through Kentucky early this morning. The Washington County Sheriff's Office reported a fatality and numerous injuries as they begin to survey the storm's destruction here today. Sheriff Jerry Pinkston says they're still working to fully understand the scope and size of the damage from the storm.
Just say the prayers and keep everybody in their thoughts. We're still determining what all needs we're going to need at this point in time.
A woman has filed a lawsuit against New Orleans Pelicans star Zion Williamson, accusing the NBA star of rape and other crimes. The lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles, where we find ABC's Alex Stone.
In the lawsuit, the woman identified as Jane Doe claims Zion Williamson took part in a continued pattern of abusive, controlling, and threatening behavior over the course of a relationship that started when Williamson was a freshman at Duke. She claims rape, along with sexual, physical, emotional, and financial abuse, happened in multiple states, including Louisiana and California. In a statement, Williamson's attorney denies the claim, saying it was a consensual, casual relationship.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. .440 eastbound near exit 6, still trying to wrap up that crash and still dealing with problems. 40 westbound near Fessler's Lane at exit 212 had an earlier accident there. They are working to clear. Near Arrington, Tennessee in Williamson County, 840 eastbound near exit 42, working to clear up that wreck. 23rd Avenue North, just south of Buchanan Street. We've got a crash there. And finally, State Street near 19th Avenue North in Midtown. Just got a report of a crash there. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes every afternoon on Super Talk 99 WTN.
All right, friends, let's talk for a moment about safety and security in the workplace, in your school, in your church, any place that people gather. Let's talk about Defend Systems. Defend Systems, run by Brink Fiddler. He's a great friend of the show. They are a life safety and security consultation firm. Now, they don't want to scare you, and Brink has talked about this from the beginning, that, we hear about these incidents of workplace violence, sadly, of mass casualty situations, mass shooting situations, and they happen with regularity around the United States of America and around the world. But the possibility of you being involved in one is very, very low, but those possibilities are not zero, which is why I like to say hope is not a plan. It is time to get trained with Defend Systems, emergency and intruder action plans, rapid response medical training, security improvement consultations, site surveys, all customized to your facility. In other words, they come into your facility and they can train your staff about what to do in the unlikely event that something goes down and how to best prepare yourself for the event that could happen. Let's make a call to Defend Systems today. Go online to find out more at defendsystems.com or call 615-236-6484, 236-6484. It's Defend Systems. All right, you can find the letter on our socials, and we're going to repeat this in the 6 o'clock hour fully. It is a Murphy Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN exclusive. Marsha Blackburn is releasing a letter this afternoon, this hour. I do not know if the letter has officially been released yet. We got an advance copy of it and received permission from her office to go ahead and release it and to talk about it. She is calling on the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, to fully investigate, use the power of the Attorney General's office to investigate Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell, his office, what they knew, when they knew it, why mistakes were made, why they're doxing people. I'll give you the questions in a moment. I'll read the full letter coming up in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I've got the theme song for Freddie O'Connell. I think I've mentioned this in the past. I don't know if I've ever played it. We'll play it for you in just a couple of minutes. But right now, we're going to play a tune of a different sort. It is the theme song for Nincompoops in the News.
Nincompoops in the News.
I have two to choose from, and I'm officially discounting one because I don't believe it.
Too good to be true?
It's about a guy getting his junk bitten on by a snake.
I saw that.
Like in India or Bangkok or somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, did that one...
Bangkok. Oh.
Easy.
Yeah,
Come on.
I'm just questioning you where are you clarifying where this occurred?
Jay, I would like to say, hey, easy, this is a family show, but it's not. It's not. We know that. It was just, I mean, how do you not look?
That's what I was going to say. Like, I mean, this snake was, it said it was like 11 foot.
11 feet of snake.
I mean, that even if just his head was sticking up out of the, I mean, come on, man.
The story is that in Bangkok, that a guy sat down on the commode and an 11-foot snake bit him in the place that no man would want. I mean, you would pick every place on your body before this place, and then he a melee ensues, and he eventually gets to the doctor, and they apparently. According to the story, did you read the full story? Did you see what they did to the snake?
No, I missed that part.
They let it go.
They let it go. They took it out of the toilet, I'm assuming,
They
right?
took it out of the toilet and released it back into the wild, which I kind of, okay.
Hey, snake being a snake.
That's the snake being a snake. I agree with you, Jay. I don't really fault the snake. I fault the dude.
Yeah.
Who sits down, who doesn't look before you sit down?
Maybe it was one of those middle of the night toilet visits. And he just didn't want to turn the light on to disturb someone else.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Got a point.
But let me promise you this. There is no middle of the night toilet visit where Matt Murphy does not look. But I do not have a fear of snakes. You know what I've got a fear of? Spiders.
You think they're going to be in or on the toilet?
If I'm sitting, I lift and I look around the rim.
Do you really?
100%.
At home even?
100%.
Wow. And if you see one, what happens if you see one?
I go, I run.
Erica!
I run away.
Dear, help me. Come on in here, dear.
I just don't like spiders, and I've had too many negative...
spiders and snakes.
I know.
That ain't what it takes to love me.
Yeah, we discounted the snake story, but we've got 3 great nincompoops for you today, and you get to vote on whether or not Jay Harper, Chris Webber, or Matt Murphy bring the best one. Jay is working on the turkey. That would be 3 in a row, and I would like to say good luck to you,
The
Jay.
trifecta.
I'd like to say good luck, but I don't like to lie.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
But in the spirit of not wanting you to win, I'm going to demand that Jay go first.
Ooh.
All righty. I will do it. Albert Bailey is a gentleman that decided that he was going to rob a bank. And this happened in Fairfield, Connecticut. But he was kind of in a hurry. So he decided that he would just call the bank in advance and let them know that he was coming to rob it. His obvious intent, he said, was to give the bank plenty of time to get the money together so he could just just hit it and run.
Where is this?
Fairfield, Connecticut.
I'm looking this up. I think he's making this up.
No, man. I'm reading.
No way.
He called the bank ahead of time to give them plenty of time to get all the money together so he could pick it up and leave quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the bank, as you can imagine, they got it together for him, said, sure, come on down. And, of course, Fairfield, Connecticut's finest was waiting on him when he got there.
Wow. You know, that story is very similar to yesterday's.
Absolute stupid. I know it. And I found a number of stories that were very similar, all under kind of the same headline.
Yeah.
You know, dumb robbers. So
I've confirmed that Harper's not making this story up. So there you go. I don't know why I doubted you. I shouldn't have doubted you.
That's right. The integrity of the news.
He called ahead on the old robbery. It didn't work out for him. It's odd.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah. Just trying to make it easy on him.
That's right. Economical. You know?
I mean, maybe call ahead and just tell him you'll meet him at the drive-thru.
Yeah. Didn't want to make a big scene or anything.
Right.
Yeah, don't want to scare anybody.
Yeah, just poke it through that little, suck thing, and I'll pick it up and go right about my business.
Wow. That speaking of freaking me out, that thing always freaked me out too. I don't like that thing.
Really?
No. Get you. I mean, put a snake in that and see what happens.
Ooh.
Mr. Weber, you're an nincompoop.
Falls Township, Pennsylvania police are investigating reports of theft and coerced payment after people allegedly had their vehicles unlawfully towed. The unlawful towing happened over the last several months at the Planet Fitness and throughout the Pennsbury Plaza shopping center, according to police. Police say they believe there may be more victims who have not yet been identified, and officials arrested a gentleman by the name of Corey Goldstein, who claims to be with TDI Towing or Sterling Towing. He's facing charges for allegedly unlawfully towing vehicles and charging people $200 to $250 to get their cars back. Investigators believe that he did have help from an accomplice as well. Police say they found one person's vehicle on the side of the road not far away from the scene. In another instance, a driver picked up their car in a parking lot outside of, or rather in Philadelphia. Police officer, Metairie, says they just take them to random places and make you get an Uber there, and then you pay them cash on the spot. Falls Township Police began their investigation with 2 reports and had since gotten more than 11 from Philadelphia to Hamilton, New Jersey. They're asking any other victims to come forward, and police say Goldstein and the company that he was involved with were in a prosecution of an $8.1 million catalytic converter theft ring just a couple years ago.
$8.1 million?
Yeah.
Catalytic converters?
A lot of money in cats.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So this fella is, you just goes and hooks your vehicle and takes it and says, hey, you want it back? You got to give me some cash.
Yeah,
man.
That's
a lot of those hook and roll scams going on. Yeah. I don't like them. All right, third and final nincompoop story of the day. I have a Florida woman story. Florida whoa man.
Yes, equal opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Police officers in Florida have arrested a woman after she allegedly stole mementos from graves so that she could use them to decorate her lawn.
Oh,
lovely.
Isn't that nice?
Catherine Taylor, 61 years of age. She looks like a little grandmotherly sort. Stands accused of 2 counts of criminal mischief, according to the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. In a press release, the Sheriff's Office say that family members with their parents buried side by side in a cemetery in Palatka, Florida, about 35 miles southwest of St. Augustine, noticed that someone was stealing items they left on grave sites. After reporting some of their miscellaneous items missing to the police in the area in April, family members installed a camera in hopes of catching the thief in action. Wow. Seems reasonable. Apparently, that's exactly what happened. The video showed the woman, later identified as Taylor, walking around the gravesite filled with keepsakes on Monday. This is low, man.
Yeah.
She appears to have grabbed one wind chime and tried to swipe another one but could not shake it loose. Detectives received anonymous tips identifying the suspect as Taylor. Cops went to confront her at her home, but say that they didn't have to look very far for the stolen items. They were featured prominently in her front yard. Aside from the wind chime, they also found a bird feeder previously stolen from a gravesite, among other items, and a probable cause arrest affidavit was obtained. Taylor told police it was not the first time she was caught stealing from a cemetery. The Palatka Police Department arrested her in 2020 for stealing from the East Oak Hill Cemetery after she took an item from the grave. She was adjudicated and found guilty and sentenced to 6 months probation. The suspect, whom police dubbed as a habitual cemetery thief, that's not something you want on the old on the resume. Yeah, habitual cemetery thief was arrested for her latest theft and taken to jail, posted $5,000 bond, and she does not, as of the writing of this story, have an attorney. I have a photograph of her front yard. It looks very decorative. So obviously she's the nincompoop in this story.
Yeah, that's the kind of karma you don't want to, you know. I mean, you think her lawn has the risk of being haunted by unhappy.
I bet she's got a hell of a decoration during Halloween.
Yeah,
I mean, I bet she's the house to go to during the Halloween
Starts
time.
taking headstones.
I mean, maybe. But, you know, part of me thinks, well, you know, it's not like the folks in the cemetery are going to miss it that much. You know, but however, the aspect of this story that's most intriguing to me, I had no idea that people put up wind chimes.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
And bird feeders. Bird feeders. And I guess it makes sense.
You know, if the deceased was a bird lover or something. Right.
And you want a population of birds to come around and poop on the gravesite.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Different strokes for different folks. There you go. That's how we play Nincompoops in the News. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jay Harper, Chris Webber, Matt Murphy. Vote. Vote early, vote. Oh, I've already got a vote. Jay Harper has a vote.
Of course.
I don't see any votes for Chris yet. We'll find out. I'll tally them up, and at 6 o'clock, we'll tell you the winner. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Somebody on the super text line said, put a snake in that and see what happens needs to be on the hotkey. And it wasn't Jason, for once. Hey, folks, away from that discussion, let's talk for a moment about your health care. Grace Point Healthcare is affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine that is delivered the old-fashioned way. What does that mean? Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. That is their slogan, but it is their mission statement as well at Grace Point Healthcare, because they remember the way that it used to be, and I do too, where you understood what you were paying, where you never once believed that your doctor was making a decision because the insurance companies told him that that's what he had to do. It shouldn't be that way, folks. And sadly, in far too many practices, that's exactly the way that it is. Not so at Grace Point Healthcare. They're a direct pay provider. Two things go on with a direct pay provider. One, you know exactly what you're paying for the work done at Grace Point. You know exactly what it's costing you. And if you sign up for the Smart Care plan, $69 a month, and you have an unlimited office visit, so you don't have to worry about that payment plan, and you get free basic labs and diagnostics, which is pretty cool too. The second thing that happens is that you have the knowledge that your doctor is never influenced unduly by the insurance companies to do things that you don't need. He is working in your best interest and your interest alone. Plus, you have an opportunity to file for your insurance with your insurance for reimbursement for the procedure. Folks, if you are feeling low, if you're feeling like you got a cold coming on or some other malady happening, I encourage you to go to Grace Point Healthcare. No waiting at Grace Point. They can see you actually when you're sick. Grace Point Healthcare, 599-6868. 599-6868. Grace Point Healthcare in the heart of Franklin. They are modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way.
Earlier today, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell answering allegations his office has obstructed ICE operations. A major win for the White House in the battle over immigration, and the win that, well, almost wasn't. We'll have those stories at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I have a question. Jay?
Yes, sir.
How big a family you have?
Well, I have my lovely bride of 36 years and 2 grown children, a son and a daughter.
Any, any brothers, sisters?
No, man. I'm it. I'm an only child.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, considering the insane amount of votes
really
coming in for Jay Harper right now. I don't know what's going on, but Harper's undefeated, y'all. Undefeated.
I gotta say, it was another pretty good one today.
It's a pretty good one, sure. But I felt like my grave Harper's. I felt it was pretty good, but no, that's fine.
Well,
that's fine. Rules are rules.
Well, hey, that's right. I mean, that's a total surprise. I was not expecting that at all. So yeah, what a shock! But I'm so grateful. It's humbling.
Cocky suits him. Cocky suits you.
It really
does.
It really is humbling.
Congratulations, Jay. 3 in a row, undefeated for the week. You were DQ'd day 1, but you came right back from it.
Yeah,
strong, man.
I mean, pretty strong. And would have won day 1 without the disqualification.
Yeah.
And for those who weren't listening, Jay was disqualified because his story Tuesday was a story that we had previously done, which is
some time ago.
Automatic disqualification. But 3-0,
which I understand. I did not hold a grudge.
3-0 with the DQ. That's not bad. I mean, professional boxer.
I don't think you've won 3 at all.
I mean, in the history of the and I came up with this segment. It was my segment. Painful. All right, so in a moment, we're going to reset on this story that we brought you exclusively. Earlier today in the, I think I have the exact time. It was 4:18 p.m. Eastern time when Senator Marsha Blackburn, officially delivered the letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi. We had it for you first on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We will cover that story for you again for those latecomers who are just getting in your automobiles, perhaps from your places of business into your automobiles, getting ready for the weekend. We'll do it, and we will call it a weekend within the next hour. It is on the way on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here comes that newsman, that intrepid newsman, the big winner of Ningleboops in the News, the one and only Jay Harper, right now on Super Talk.
Good evening. It's 6 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We have a full weekend forecast, and it looks pretty good. And we also have a traffic report, which is so-so. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell, he responds to accusations of his office doxing ICE agents and obstructing ICE operations in the city. We hear more now from News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry.
Never their intention to release the agents' names, and once that information was made public and they were aware of it, those names were immediately scrubbed. The mayor is facing sharp criticism from state and federal officials, some accusing his office of putting ICE and HSI agents at risk and misusing taxpayer money. This comes as part of a broader federal investigation into his administration, but Mayor O'Connell denies any wrongdoing, saying no taxpayer dollars were spent improperly and that his office has never blocked ICE operations in the city. He says the goal of the city's ICE data reporting is to promote transparency while prioritizing the safety of federal agents.
We've had a training process, and I will say our Metro Nashville Police Department has been very effective in this. We will be reviewing not just how that information is recorded as it comes into publicly available processes, but also then what does get posted. The interest here is just in transparency. It is not in obstruction.
Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles, he posted on social media this morning that the congressional investigation into O'Connell is already in motion. A major win for the White House in the battle over immigration. The Supreme Court granting the Trump administration's request to revoke humanitarian parole for more than 500,000 immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. ABC's Devin Dwyer is in D.C.
Those 500,000 immigrants in the United States could now, in the next 30 days, see their status revoked. They will be forced to leave the country unless they have some other kind of legal status. And as the dissent in this case, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and Sonia Sotomayor said today, that is undervaluing and devastating for a lot of those families who had come here legally and set up lives here.
Well, the win that almost wasn't. No, we're not talking about the NBA or Stanley Cup playoffs. We're talking about the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
243 spellers entered the competition. Late into the contest, it was down to just 3, including 13-year-old Faizan Zaki, who was on the verge of winning until he was tripped up by this word.
Kamalina.
K-A-M-O. I'm sorry. That allowed the 2 other contestants to re-enter, but they spelled their words incorrectly, leaving Faizan all by himself with one final word. Éclaircissement.
S-S-E-M-E-N-T. That is correct.
Faizan gets a huge trophy and a $50,000 prize.
That's Sherry Preston reporting. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We are still working to clear a couple of problems on Interstate 840. Both of them are eastbound in direction. The first one at exit 37. That's Arno Road. We've got a crash there. And in the Arrington area, 840 eastbound near exit 42. 40 westbound right at Fessler's Lane, exit 212. There have been wrecks there all day long. Hopefully they'll get that cleared shortly. 23rd Avenue North, just south of Buchanan Street, a crash, and also East Old Hickory Boulevard at Delaware Avenue. We have your traffic every 10 minutes, every afternoon on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another hour, the final hour of the day, the final hour of the week. A shortened, compressed week, considering we were not here live and in person on Memorial Day. It's episode 820 of our visits together, and an incredible bombshell in our laps in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to re-up this story and get your thoughts on it in the final hour. 615-737-9986 if you'd like to be a part of the show. 615-737-9986. So I have a new, as I present this story as to what Senator Marsha Blackburn has done today, on the heels of a call for a congressional investigation, and Mark Green has heeded that call, and there will be an investigation in the Committee on Homeland Security. There will also be an investigation in the Committee on the Judiciary of Mayor Freddie O'Connell for the possibility that he has aided and abetted illegal aliens, which is against Title 8 U.S. Code 1324. You can't do it. It's against the law to do that, for anybody to do that, much less an elected official. And so with that in mind, we have called publicly for the better part of the week for more officials. And actually, it was last week where we said, where are all of our state and local officials at on this? And are we going to do something about it? And I'll say we were the first to call on our state and local officials and our federal officials to do something about it. And many of them are doing something about it, and kudos for them, to include Congressman Andy Ogles, who appeared on our show earlier in the week. He called for a congressional investigation and got one. Mark Green has apparently spearheaded the investigation in the Committee on Homeland Security. And then obviously Cameron Sexton has taken up at least the possibility that they would audit the city of Nashville if it is determined that possibly monies were directed toward the defense or the aid of illegal aliens in our city. And so there is that. And then, of course, there is the letter from Marsha Blackburn, which we will get to in a moment. But I found what I think is the perfect. I found what I think is the perfect theme song for our man Freddie O'Connell. I don't know. This just feels right. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this song. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. It's Freddie Blasey.
Back when I was a kid, life was going swell. Till something happened. Blew everything to hell. That night my daddy stumbled in, all pale and weak. Said a woman up the block just gave birth to a geek.
A geek?
Mom said, sell it to the circus. What the heck? Dad said, nope, this one's a pencil neck. And if there's one thing lower than a sideshow freak, it's a gritty, scum-sucking, pencil-neck geek. You see, if you take a pencil that won't hold lead, looks like a pipe cleaner attached to a head. Add a buggy whip body with a brain that leaks. You got yourself a grit-eating pencil-neck geek.
All right, so there you go. That's our new
grit-eating geek, scum-sucking peahead with a lousy physique. He's a one-man, no-cut, losing streak. Nothing but a pencil-neck geek.
All right, so there you go. There's our new theme song for Freddie O'Connell. It's called Pencil-Neck Geek.
Mighty strong.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
them was fighting words.
Freddie Blasey did not like. Freddie Blasey was a wrestler, if I'm not mistaken. And,
yeah. Classy. No, it's Blasey.
Is it Blasey?
Classy
that's right.
Freddie Blasey. Yeah.
Classy Freddie Blasey. Yeah. Thank you for crediting that. Yeah, Classy Freddie Blasey and Pencil Neck Geek, the new theme for Freddie O'Connell. I don't think we're going to get Freddie back on the show anytime. So
probably not.
Something tells me I have coffee scheduled with him next week.
Well, that should be fun.
I mean, I am fully anticipating that this coffee will. It's not going to be canceled by me. It's supposedly Thursday morning.
Yeah, bring your own coffee. don't let them pour it for you.
That's an excellent point, Harper. All right, so here is the letter from Marsha Blackburn. We read it last hour. We want to read it again this hour for those who are just tuning in. It was submitted to the Honorable Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States, U.S. Department of Justice, earlier today at about 3:20 Central Time. Dear Attorney General Bondi, I write to express my deep concern with the recent actions of Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell and his efforts to obstruct the work of the Trump administration to secure our border, deport criminal illegal aliens, and make America safe again. After a joint operation conducted by the Tennessee Highway Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement led to the arrest of nearly 200 illegal immigrants in Nashville, Mayor O'Connell signed an executive order requiring city departments, including local law enforcement, to report all communications they have with federal immigration authorities. The intent of this executive order is clear: obstruct ICE operations in Nashville and tip off criminal illegal aliens to avoid apprehension and detention. But the mayor did not stop there. This week, O'Connell publicly released the names of multiple Homeland Security investigations and ICE agents, along with their immigration enforcement activities. By doxing these hardworking law enforcement officers who are working to make the Nashville community safe, the mayor has placed them directly in harm's way. Specifically, he has revealed the names of these brave men and women to their criminal members of Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and other violent gangs at a time when ICE officers have faced a 413% increase in assaults. Demonizing these brave law enforcement officers will not be tolerated. That is why I'm urging you to launch a formal investigation into Mayor O'Connell's obstruction of immigration enforcement operations in Nashville. Specifically, I respectfully request that you examine, number one, whether Mayor O'Connell has willfully obstructed ICE or HSI enforcement operations in the Nashville area. Number two, whether Mayor O'Connell has aided and abetted or facilitated in any way illegal immigration or the evasion of detection from federal immigration authorities. And number three, whether Mayor O'Connell's recent actions have in any way contributed to Nashville's status as a sanctuary city. President Trump and his administration are already hard at work deporting criminal illegal aliens and making our communities safe again. And an investigation into the mayor's conduct would be a tremendous step forward to holding rogue mayors and local officials to account. The people of Tennessee deserve nothing less. Thank you for your attention to this urgent matter. Sincerely, Marsha Blackburn, United States Senator. Good on you, Marsha. We call them like we see them on the Murphy Show. And when politicians do the wrong things, we're going to call them out. When politicians do the right things, when public servants do the right things, we're going to say thank you, and we say thank you. In the meantime, I find this very interesting. Mayor Paul Young is the mayor of Memphis. Mayor Paul Young will never be accused of being a conservative, or a Republican for that matter. Paul Young has issued a statement regarding the city of Memphis and the current circumstances in the state of Tennessee. That statement is as follows. The city of Memphis is not on the list, and it is important to clarify that Memphis and Shelby County are separate governmental entities. The city of Memphis is not a sanctuary city, nor does it have policies that obstruct federal immigration enforcement. Tennessee state law explicitly prohibits sanctuary jurisdictions, and Memphis complies fully with that law. Our focus remains on ensuring public safety for all residents, and we continue to operate within the bounds of state and federal law. That is Memphis Mayor Paul Young. Obviously, Paul Young is wanting to separate himself from any and all shenanigans going on in the city of Nashville. Wants to make sure. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Memphis. I don't know what's behind closed doors in Memphis. But Mayor Young says, y'all don't need to come around here and look around here. We're all good around here. As far as immigration goes, we're cool around here. We'll comply around here. Don't come sniffing like you're about to come sniffing in Nashville, because we're all good. Now, in all seriousness, as I said to the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, in addition to the commentary offered by Mayor O'Connell, in addition to the sad reality that he doxed intentionally, his office intentionally placed ICE agents on a Metro Nashville website and then removed them, calling it a mistake, and which just opens up just a myriad. I mean, exactly what mistake was made. Who was responsible for the mistakes? Did your city attorneys sign off on said mistakes? Who will be held accountable for said mistake? And what did the mayor know, and when did the mayor know it? Equally as important to me is the belonging fund. Now, it is a very tricky and difficult thing to try to figure out this money. But we're trying to do it, and I know other entities are trying to do it as well. Our good friend over at the Tennessee Star, Michael Patrick Leahy, is attempted to do this. Trying to put the dots together and figure out exactly where the money went with regard to the belonging fund. Was there city money that seeded this fund? Exactly what is the office of, I think they're calling themselves the Office of New and Indigenous Americans, and what that has to do with illegal alien activity, and what, if any, money is through that office going to illegal aliens to fund their defense or to fund their abilities to get away from immigration and customs enforcement. Once again, your position on this, Freddie, doesn't matter. If you're Sandra Sepulveda or you're Jenny Welsh, two city councilors, or the Terry Vo, another city councilor, what you think about this does not matter. You must follow the law. No matter how much you hate it, no matter how much it disgusts you, you have to follow the law. That's the bedrock of the America that you and I know and love, or at least that the listeners of this show and I know and love. I don't know about you three. You can be as disgusted about ICE as you want, but that doesn't give you the ability to aid and abet illegal activity. And I'm very curious about what they knew and what they know regarding the funding. It's not just about Freddie. It's about Vo. It's about Sepulveda. It's about Jenny Welsh. All three actively attempting to circumvent the efforts of ICE and the Tennessee Highway Patrol. It's about Afton Bend. And we're going to go as far as this rabbit hole goes. In the meantime, Freddie said earlier today at a press conference that he was puzzled by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's decision to designate Nashville a sanctuary city, claiming that the metro government had worked to comply with Tennessee law. The mayor also told reporters that he's not worried about any congressional probe. I wonder if he's worried about a probe from Attorney General Pam Bondi, which hopefully is forthcoming. Those probes seek information from the mayor and Metro Nashville over his actions in response to recent activity, as we've well said and gone over. O'Connell, answering a question, said, "I'm not particularly concerned," after stating that he would, quote, appropriately respond to the letter sent by Representatives Jim Jordan, Mark Green, and Tom McClintock. "We're going to, again, respond appropriately to all inquiries, and we've been guided by the full understanding of state and federal law and will continue to be of the city." The mayor was also questioned about the fund, which O'Connell had announced as a joint effort between Nashville and the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. He said, this was his answer in his press conference earlier today, and I'm quoting from the Tennessee Star here. "Yeah, the Belonging Fund was set up really in response to the findings of Imagine Nashville, which found that our local immigrant population, in fact, had one of the strongest senses of belonging." Isn't that nice? That's good. That's great. I'm glad for y'all. The mayor claimed there is no public funding that is a part of the Belonging Fund, and I would say any of the operation of that fund, I'd refer anybody to the Community Foundation for questions and answers on that. Well, I think there's a much deeper question about where monies came from the Office of New and Indigenous Americans. That was funded by the Metro state government. We want to know about that fund. We want to know about a number of other organized activities on Metro Nashville's website. And we want to know how these names appeared on that website. The mayor responded to that, stated that no tax dollars were given to the fund, referred additional questions to CFMT, passed the buck there, went on to say that more than $30,000 had been committed as seed money to the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, or the TIRRC, as well as the Tennessee Justice for Our Neighbors. Those are nonprofit organizations that had been awarded federal money from Metro. They were awarded them money, I think, that they got through COVID, if I'm not mistaken. So you see, they're routing money to these organizations, and these organizations are in part routing money to illegal aliens to assist them in either their defense or to assist them in what? Hiding? Well, we don't know. No clue. The mayor then went on to respond to the outcry over the names of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Homeland Security Investigations officials, which were doxed publicly or placed publicly, published on a data portal associated with the Nashville office of New Americans. O'Connell claimed, and I think he's lying here, and that's just my opinion. O'Connell claims the posts were made intentionally, or rather unintentionally, that the names were posted unintentionally. Quote, "It was never the intent of the executive order for those names to be posted. They were removed as soon as we were made aware they had been posted." No, you removed them as soon as a news organization outed you, Freddie. You removed them when Fox 17 and Karen Aguilar outed you for posting those names. Not when you became aware. There were obviously people in your government aware. Who posted them, dude? Is that person going to get punished? We're working on new safeguards, he said, and procedures to avoid it happening again. Of course you are. He later claimed there was a training process in place to instruct Metro employees on what information should be uploaded, but that his administration, quote, will be reviewing not just how that information is recorded as it comes into publicly available processes, but also then what does get posted. Here, he then ultimately asserted, and this is a money quote, "The interest here is in transparency," and that his administration did not intentionally engage in obstruction or anything that would be considered harmful. Then why do you need the names in the first place? Why did you double down on this executive order? Why did you demand that you be notified, your office and you personally, Mayor? Executive Order 30 says you are to personally be notified about any engagement on the part of the Metro Nashville Police Department, or the Fire Department, and ICE. Why? Why was that so important if it were not to dox these people? Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. 25 after the hour on Super Talk. Let's talk about Dr. Brian McLaughlin and how you are sleeping tonight. Are you sleeping well at night? Do you feel like you get up in fits and starts? Are you feeling like you're not rested when you wake up in the morning? You might have sleep apnea. It might be a result of you waking up in the night and not recognizing it, and it might cause you additional snoring. If any of these things are a part of your life, it's time to get it handled with Dr. Brian McLaughlin, Dr. Stephen Pawson, the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solutions Center. Dr. Brian McLaughlin is not just a U.S. Army veteran, a dad, and a business owner. He is a wonderful resource in our community for all things sleep and sleep apnea. They create in the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solutions Center custom fabricated oral appliances. I have one of these. I sleep with it at night. It is incredible. It's FDA approved. It's clinically proven to hold the jaw forward, to keep the airway open, to make sure that you breathe throughout the course of the night. And it's custom fit to your mouth. That appliance is for you and for you alone. We invite you to request an appointment today to go see Dr. McLaughlin and his incredible team either in Murfreesboro or in Brentwood, and let them help you sleep better tonight. Give them a call by going to TennesseeSleep.com. That's the website, TennesseeSleep.com, and schedule an appointment today and tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Tennessee Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Man, tomorrow's the big day. I'm very excited about it, and I encourage you to be there with us from 10 until 2 at the Glock Store's 5th annual open house. I will be there all throughout the day. KGB of Nashville's Morning News will be in attendance. Mason Fleming will sub in for Chris Hand. He'll be there as well. Plus, you, vendors galore. It will be a huge event for everyone. The Glock Store is a huge facility, so they'll be able to fit you in. Don't worry. Raffles all day long. Incredible specials all day long. I mean, a great example, Burrow bullets. The Burrow bullet blowout is happening tomorrow. Burrow bullets, locally made bullet. In Murfreesboro, get it? Burrow bullet. 9mm and 223 and 1,000-round tac packs. You'll just have to see the price to believe it. Look, folks, I've been to these events, and they are incredible. Like-minded Second Amendment lovers in the same facility, enjoying our Second Amendment rights and enjoying everything the Glock Store has to offer. It's from 10 until 2 tomorrow. Tomorrow's the big day, and I'll see you there at the 5th annual open house at the one and only Glock Store.
An announcement today from President Trump that affects foreign imported steel. We'll also have today's closing money news. That's coming up here in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, yeah, that's on the way. I ran a little bit long there. My apologies. Just very excited about the possibility of getting to the bottom of this. Some of you not so excited. Alan writes in and says absolutely nothing will happen to any of them, and they will probably get reelected. Freddie has what, until 2027 before he's back up for election? I would agree that the possibility exists that he could get reelected in Nashville, that many people would look at this as a badge of honor. If he's violated the law, though, I would I don't know. I don't know about all of that. Alan says the only thing missing from the Blackburn letter announcement is the theme music from Dragnet. The DOJ will not be able to investigate Mayor Freddie. They're too covered up with the thousands of hours of Epstein evidence they're reviewing. LOL. That's funny. That's true. I'm a little bit frustrated about all of that. But 4963 says, I just disagree. Freddie is done, he said. We shall see about that. Patrina says, Pamela Furr needs to come on again about the protest. When is it? Tuesday? What time? We will make sure that you are fully aware of the protest as the day goes on and as the week progresses next week. So Monday, I'll make you aware. I think it's on the 3rd that the protest is happening at 5 o'clock before the city council meeting, if I'm not mistaken. We'll give you the deets on that coming up next week. Also, speaking of next week, a couple of special guests to tell you about in the next week, to include the woman that I wish was mayor. And a very special guest, a guy that I have criticized probably more than any other Republican in my show's history, or at least while I've been in Nashville. He's going to be on the show with us. 31 after. I'll tell you about that next, 31 after the hour.
It is indeed 31 minutes past 6 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Another weekend forecast and another traffic report are coming up. After announcing a planned partnership between the Pennsylvania-based company U.S. Steel and Japan's Nippon Steel, President Donald Trump today visited Pittsburgh to celebrate the agreement and announce new tariffs on foreign imported steel. Trump celebrating the partnership, saying Nippon's investment will go a long way to making American steel great again.
The best and strongest steel on earth will forever be made in America and made in Pennsylvania.
Sad news from the world of entertainment. Loretta Swit, who won 2 Emmy Awards playing Major Margaret Houlihan on the pioneering hit TV series MASH, has died. She was 87 years of age. Publicist Harlan Bull said that Swit died today at her home in New York City, likely from natural causes. We now turn to today's closing money news with Wayne Cabot.
Major indexes closed mixed. The Dow was up 54 points. The S&P ended trading about even, losing half a point, and the Nasdaq index was down 62. Investors appear to be wary of twists and turns in the tariff trade war between the U.S. and China. The Commerce Department reports consumer prices rose just 2.1% in April, compared with a year earlier, and down from 2.3% in March. Excluding food and energy, core prices rose 2.5% from a year earlier. Closing arguments in the legal face-off between Google and the Justice Department. It will determine the tech company's fate after its dominant search engine was declared an illegal monopoly. The Justice Department wants a federal judge to ban Google's lucrative deal with Apple and force it to sell its Chrome browser. And a new analysis by Redfin shows the U.S. housing market had nearly 34% more sellers than buyers.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Traffic beginning to clear out pretty nicely here on this Friday afternoon. We do have a bit of a volume delay still, 24 eastbound in the area of Old Hickory Boulevard, and also on 40 eastbound as you approach Fessler's Lane. And the merge at 440 eastbound with 24 east, a little bit of a volume delay there. And the same can be said 65 northbound. Once you get past Vietnam Vets, there's a little bit of a delay there as you approach Long Hollow Pike. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes, every morning and afternoon. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's hot outside. I mean, you hear the guys talking about 80-degree temperatures, 90-degree temperatures, can't be far behind. And if your AC is not running as you believe it should, it's time for Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. Get Jeff to come out or send one of his incredible techs to come out and check that AC. Through maintenance, you can extend the life of your unit. It's as simple as that, right? If you properly maintenance your AC unit, it's going to live longer. There's a life cycle for these things. And, you know, depending on what you do with it and how you maintain it, 10 years, 15 years, who knows? But the bottom line is maintenance helps, and you'll never get charged over $125 for any maintenance call, no matter how many units you have, and oftentimes it's much less than that. And don't forget to ask them about their maintenance guarantee. That simply means if they maintenance your unit this summer and they have to come out for any other reason to service the AC during the summer, the service fee is waived. That's the maintenance guarantee at Jeff Eddy's Efficient Heating and Cooling. Now, when it's time, they're a pro partner with Rheem. They can help you find the right unit to replace the current one that you have. Give them a call at 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or efficienthvac.net. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's going on, friends? So we got big weekend plans?
Sure.
Doing nothing, huh?
You guessed it.
I did guess it. I would ask Jay, but he's already gone off to celebrate his trifecta, his victory in Nincompoops in the. I don't know. He's probably going to be drinking copious amounts of pina coladas.
Well,
or
not too much because you got probably a busy sports weekend.
That's why I was kind of angling, because he does that. He does all of that sports stuff on the side. Man, oh, man, that's a lot of things going on. Busy guy. We'll be busy tomorrow from 10 until 2. What's the weather like? You know what? I'm embarrassed because, and in my defense, there's a lot going on, right? I mean, we got a lot going on. There's a show going on. So I know that you guys listen, and I appreciate you. And you hear the weather guy talk about the weekend weather forecast, and I haven't heard it once.
It's going to be absolutely gorgeous.
Tomorrow?
Yep.
All right.
Like 80 degrees. Beautiful.
I think I'm going with the Harley tomorrow for Glock Store.
I think that's a good choice.
I think so too.
Yep.
So Harley Davidson tomorrow at the Glock Store, easy parking. Maybe Dan did Lenny call? I thought Lenny was supposed to call.
I thought so too, but he did not.
He never called. Oh well. It is what it is. We were going to talk to Lenny McGill, one final push to convince you to come to the Glock Store, but I'll just do it for him. Get to the Glock Store tomorrow. You can, maybe they may let me pull my Harley right up in there in the Glock Store. I don't know. I'll ask.
Or just do it and see what happens.
I mean, what are they going to do?
Well,
I'm thinking now that I think about it. But yeah, we'll be there tomorrow from 10 until 2. Would love to see you. And then Sunday, it's my understanding, another good-looking day, yeah?
I think some rain coming in on Sunday.
Oh, come on.
I think that's right.
I don't believe you. Yeah, I don't even know why I ask. I'm gonna go to a better weather. Looky here, 80 degrees and partly cloudy, but I don't see any rain.
Well, my weather app says 88%. A couple showers and a thunderstorm.
Is that what
Probably
you're
just the afternoon typical this time of year stuff. Let's hope so anyway.
No, I think you're just trying to marsh my mellow. I was going to go riding on Sunday too. You know what I do on the weekends? During the nice days when I'm given permission to go out and about, I just pick a city that I think will have a beer, and just go there and find a beer, like at a watering hole, it's normally a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, but just any random. And I was thinking Cookville.
I know they got some of that stuff.
I think they do. I was thinking Cookville on Sunday afternoon, so maybe we'll make that happen. All right, some of the stories we want to get to before we say goodbye. Elon Musk was at the Oval Office earlier today, and we told you about his goodbye, his farewell in his official role in the Trump administration. But it was not just the mark that he left on DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, which continues. It was the literal mark on his face that raised eyebrows. There was... Well, he had a black eye. And, some were saying, maybe Trump gave him a little what in the Oval Office because of some of the things he said over the weekend about the big, beautiful bill. Not so. Not so. We joke, we kid. Social media lit up during the live stream event as eagle-eyed viewers noticed what appeared to be a fresh bruise under Elon Musk's eye, which prompted speculation about everything from a gym mishap to a political dust-up. The assembled press could not resist asking the obvious, what happened to your eye? Well, the answer was, actually, it was a pretty good response. Let me see if I can find, I need to see if I can find the actual audio of this. I'm going to say Musk eye. Let's see if we can, let's see how good. Do you understand how good X is? I mean, they have honestly become the go-to stop for all things internet searches, especially when it comes to audio. Here's the audio.
I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk, is your eye okay? What happened to your eye? I noticed there was a bruise there.
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France.
You already said. I wasn't anywhere near France.
That was pretty quick.
That's pretty good. That's Emmanuel Macron got his. By the way, do you have a take on that? Macron swears that they were kidding around, but
no way.
There's zero chance.
I don't think so at all.
Now, I could see that. I mean, I know that some couples are physical and they roughhouse or whatever. It's the look on his face when he realizes that the plane is open.
The door's open.
The door's open. It's like,
And then how he popped out of the doorway quickly.
Immediately.
And then back into it.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, if you've not seen that video, Macron and his wife were apparently in a little bit of a tussle, and she was like both hands all up in his face, just shoving him back, and he's like, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. But not so much with Elon Musk, but I love the quip. I wasn't anywhere near France. Listen.
I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk, is your eye okay? What happened to your eye? I noticed there's a bruise there.
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France, so. But
by the way, can we get is there no humor in the White House press corps? They got a little bit of a little bit of a chuckle, but not nearly. That's a good line.
I think it went over most of them's head. They're not the brightest.
That's a good point.
I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk, is your eye okay? What happened to your eye? I noticed there's a bruise there.
well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France, so. What
does that mean?
No.
Oh my God! I'd not heard that.
What's that mean?
He asked him, "What does that mean?" What a loser! Good Lord, the humorless press. What a bunch of losers.
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France, so. What does
that mean?
No.
I didn't notice his
First lady of France.
Getting slapped.
I didn't notice.
I was just horsing around with little X, and I said, "Go ahead, punch me in the face," and he did. Turns out, even a 5-year-old punching you in the face actually does.
That was X that did it?
Yeah.
X could do it. If you knew X, he
I
could
saw his
do
mom
it.
right now. But I didn't really feel much at the time, and then I guess it bruises up. But I just horsing around with the kids.
I didn't
basically.
notice it, actually.
I got one.
So my question for you, Chris Webber, your young man just graduated from high school.
Yep.
At any point during his upbringing, did you say, "Go ahead and punch me in the face"?
I can fully confirm, no, I'd never said punch me in the face. I might have said, yeah, take a shot, but not in the face.
If you're feeling froggy, just go ahead and jump there, little man. So apparently little X, just go ahead and give me one. And he popped him. And as Elon Musk said, apparently, even if you're 5 years old, it can hurt. And there you go. So that's Elon Musk's getting popped in the eye. And the media just incredibly interested in it. Secondarily, I just, the humorless media, I mean, that guy.
What does that mean?
I mean, what a dork. What an absolute dork. I mean, I'm adding you to the pencil neck geek category officially. All right, we'll take a short time out, be back in a moment, finish things up, call it a weekend next. Some fun stories coming up for you, and we'll put a wrap on this thing and hand off to Mark Levin after this. One of the reasons that Genesis Diamonds has the selection that they have at either of their incredible locations, Green Hills and Cool Springs, well, they want to make sure that they have the right thing for you. Depending on your budget, depending on the size and shape, depending on the type of item that you want, whether it's earrings or a bracelet or a pendant or a necklace or a ring, engagement or otherwise. They want to have the special something just for you at Genesis Diamonds. Secondarily, a large inventory makes sure that they don't have to worry about market fluctuations in terms of price. And with tariffs, I mean, obviously, that's a concern with some jewelry stores, not so much with Genesis Diamonds, because their price is their price, and they're not raising their prices on any of their pre-tariff inventory. So All merchandise in stock is at an incredible value right now and for the foreseeable future. Genesis Diamonds is also where you get the most for your money every single day. And it goes way beyond price in terms of what they provide for the community. It's the selection, as I mentioned, the quality, the outrageously good customer service, which is just second to none in our community, and their industry-leading warranties. 2 locations, as I mentioned, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Genesis Diamonds, you get more for your money. They're the exclusive retailer for all of the top names in bridal jewelry. I just encourage you to stop by for that special something, anniversary, birthday, or just because. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Genesis Diamonds. There was a recent bombshell report revealing that the abortion pill is literally 10 times more dangerous than the FDA has previously claimed, with 11% of women experiencing serious and adverse effects. Horrifyingly, the abortion pill accounts for over 60% of abortions. That's an average of over 1 million babies aborted annually. That means 66,000 women will be harmed by the abortion pill this year, not to mention the babies that are harmed as a result of abortion. This is what they call health care? No, friends, let me tell you. Real health care is in the preborn network. Their clinics have saved over 67,000 babies in the last year alone. Preborn provides for the physical and emotional needs of mama and the baby alike. And I love the way that they do their business, which is why I'm such a proud sponsor and a proud endorser of Preborn, because they do it with love. They shower the woman with love, they shower the baby with love, and they shower them with an ultrasound. And when that ultrasound happens, odds are mama's going to pick life as opposed to an abortion. To donate, please dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby, or visit preborn.com/Murphy. Preborn.com/Murphy. It's $28 for one ultrasound, $140 for 5 ultrasounds. Whatever you can afford will go to benefit mama in crisis and baby in crisis. It's preborn.com/Murphy. I love it. So many of you on the Super Text line are telling me, well, many of you are telling me where I shouldn't go on my weekend adventures. 4460, you shouldn't go to Wildwood Marina in Granville.
Okay, what happened there?
Well, this might be a very, very good game of reverse psychology.
Ooh, yeah.
Because you know what that makes me want to do?
It makes you want to go.
I want to go to Wildwood Marina in Granville. Why shouldn't I? 4460. What's over there? 5510 says the ex excuse is not believable. It doesn't seem that big of a deal, but I hurt myself on a regular basis, and I don't notice it for 3 days. I don't know. I mean, what Lil X is what 4, 5, something like that. Yeah. I mean, have you seen that kid? By the way, some of the videos of, and he gets no credit in the mainstream media, but the videos of Donald Trump with Lil X are very, very cute.
Yeah, you can tell he's a good grandfather.
Yeah, you can tell. But I don't know. I mean, whatever. It's really none of my business. I mean, it could have been a sex party for all I know. As long as it's consensual, it's just none of my business. But the media wants to make it their business, obviously. 1825 says Spanky's in Cookeville has beer.
Spanky's.
That's duly noted. I mean, and what's the old line? Gentlemen, you had my curiosity, but now you have my interest.
I like the name of that place.
Yeah, Spanky's. I mean, I want to know what's going on in there. All right, so before we go, several of you have asked me, why no commentary on the Chrisleys? As many of you have heard, we've been reporting the news. It's a local story as well as a national story. Donald Trump has pardoned Julie and Todd Chrisley. And after several years behind bars, they have now returned home to Nashville, Tennessee. More specifically, I think, do they live in either Franklin or Belmead? I'm not sure which. She and her husband, Todd Chrisley, and Julie, they are looking to put that chapter of their lives behind them. Their lawyer, Alex Little, shared with Fox News an update. I think Todd Chrisley did a press conference earlier today as well. I saw Julie yesterday doing well. I mean, you have to remember this is a family that's been separated for more than 2 years. Julie and Todd's release from federal prison came after the couple were pardoned by President Donald Trump earlier this week. The Chrisley Knows Best stars served time on bank fraud and tax evasion. Their lawyer continued to share a glimpse of their family reunion after they had been separated for 2 years. Huge part of being home is getting family time and being together. That's what she wanted to focus on today. I think it's hard, Little pointed out. You can imagine it's not as if you can sort of pick up immediately. They've stayed in contact, Todd and Julie. They didn't get to speak on the phone, but they emailed every day. I think they're doing what that standard repair you do when you get back. So there you go. There's a little bit of that. So Todd spoke to the media, and it's the first time that he's spoken to the media since 2022. His daughter, Savannah, was also present at the press conference that was held in their home in Nashville. The Chrisley patriarch said that his wife remained resilient through her time in prison. She's ecstatic to be reunited with the family, especially her children. Julie, who's a wonderful, decent, God-fearing woman, and I are blessed to have been married for over 30 years now. She's an excellent mother. She's at home with Chloe right now, adopted daughter, and Chloe will not let her go, which is very sweet. So here's the deal. Contrary to popular belief, I try not to go off half-cocked with regard to opinions about anything. And I don't know anything about the Chrisley family. I've never seen their reality television show. I couldn't tell. Before 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I could not have picked them out of a lineup. I know many of you love them. As expressed by your super text or whatever. I know many of you hate them, as evidenced by your super text or whatever. I have no love nor no hate for these folks. I don't know. I have not, and I admit to you, I have not invested the time nor the energy to determine for myself whether or not they deserved any jail time or whether they were railroaded. I don't know. Donald Trump is the president. Donald Trump, whether they were railroaded or they deserved every second in prison that they got, Donald Trump, as president, has the authority to pardon them because they were put up on federal charges, and he did so. And so that is that. I'll say this. Donald Trump is not afraid to pardon people. And I understand it's his second term in office, but he did some of the pardons. He pardoned Bernie Kerik, the former police commissioner in New York City during 9/11. And I'll end there. I know that our good friend of the show, David Corlew, former manager of the Charlie Daniels Band, was good friends with Bernie Kerik. And David's going through some physical stuff. He broke some bones and had to have some healing done there. But David has some heart healing to do because he was good friends with Bernie, and I know that he's devastated and suffering. I accidentally told him the news last night. I texted him and said, I'm sorry to hear about Bernie's passing, and as sometimes happens, he had not heard about it. But I'm thinking about David, and I'm thinking about Bernie Kerik and the Kerik family. He's only 69 years old and seemed like a great guy. We had a chance to interview him on a couple of occasions. Friends, go out and have a great weekend. Hope to see you tomorrow at the Glock store. If not, have fun. We'll see you Monday, bright and early at 3 o'clock. Until then, hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.